Freak out there. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men in power want? More power.
My name is luca-zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a drill. If you're listening to this broadcasting, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom.
We're not afraid.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and on UnitedStates.fm network. Another Sunday, another show. I tell you, one of the most beautiful things that I had the pleasure and the opportunity to have through this show is to meet very incredible people out there. Normally, I never would be able to meet them. And it's not just about meeting them, because of course you can meet people on Facebook, it's a big humanity out there now. It's beautiful, you can reach people from around the world. I love that. But also you can somehow have the chance to ask them questions. I'm always so curious. I like to know what's going on. And one thing that for sure I learned, that I don't know everything, and I always learn new things. And when I have somebody who's been, let's say, behind the scenes, especially in our military force, okay, in this case the Navy, at a pretty high level, okay? He's not just regular private. He's the guy that would do it as for career. So he saw things, he's been in places that normally we don't, but we hear through the fake news, because that for me is fake news, you know that, most of them. So I like to know his input. I like to know about his opinion, especially when you know that people that normally when they're serving, they don't have that right like we're supposed to have as a First Amendment right. They cannot express their opinions. They cannot express even what they're really seeing. Sometimes they're also binded by secrecy. So, and I'm not going to ask him things that he cannot say today, but I have a guest today that I enjoy his conversation. I also pretty much we think alike on many issues. And I'd like to know more about state of the event of things that are happening today, things that happened to this country the last 15 years. And since he was there and he's seen things and places that I didn't do, I would like to ask him also what he really thinks, what was going on and what's going on right now with America and the rest of the world when it comes down to also our military. Okay. Now, his name is Michael. I will leave him like that for his privacy. And Michael, he will introduce himself and it will give you a little bit of an idea, what is done. Michael, are you there?
I'm here, Luca.
Nice to meet you again. Normally we interact on Facebook and I like your post. I think that we have some sort of a like-minded mentality on some issues at least. And thank you for coming here.
Well, thank you for having me, and I agree. I think we see eye to eye on a lot of things.
Question now. Give us a little bit, as I said, I respect your privacy. Of course, you had a very interesting job that is more than a job. You are sometimes sworn also to secrecy on so many aspects. But let's put it things. You say as much as you can or as you're allowed to say about your personal professional background when it comes that you served in the Navy, U.S. Navy, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Give us a little bit of your background, please.
Well, I started off as an officer on a destroyer, which is, nothing very glamorous as far as the Navy goes. It's kind of like the Navy's equivalent of the infantry, if you will, in that, in the infantry, it doesn't get a lot of glamour. They just do their jobs every day. And then after 4 years, I came out and was in the reserves for I guess it was 18 years with some active duty interspersed in between. So I've been to a lot of interesting places in the world, the last of which, and at my highest rank, was in the Middle East and eventually in Afghanistan, which is a weird place for a ship guy to be, especially when his bosses are primarily from the Army, but the people who work for him are from all the different services, including, the active duty component, the reserves, which has been activated, and the National Guard.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, really, a Navy guy in the middle of the desert of Afghanistan without a ship is kind of almost out of place from looking from here. I mean,
well, it was pretty weird. You know, in the Navy, for instance, we don't usually have a lot of contact with small arms unless we're specialized like the SEALs are. But, you know, our aviators, our submariners, our ship guys, they don't generally run around with weapons strapped to their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was new. It wasn't completely uncomfortable for me as far as the weapons are concerned, just because I grew up with small arms. My father is a World War II veteran.
Yeah.
But even so, it was a fish out of water to a large extent.
Interesting. Now, when you retired, or at least when you finished your service, what was your last task that you were working at, or where you were working? Period.
Well, we were visiting various bases throughout the Middle East and Afghanistan, and looking for vulnerabilities, which we then could report to the commanding officers at the various bases and tell them, you know, how they might potentially go about making their bases safer.
Okay, interesting job. Now, question is, you know, I read your post, okay, and if I didn't know you for your background, you don't sound like the typical yes sir guy, okay? You think, you use your brain a lot, and like me, you know, that's why I couldn't serve in the Italian army. I mean, when I did my academy, I started there. I realized that, unfortunately, I wasn't fit for that type of task because I use my brain and I question authority, especially when the authority, in my opinion, is wrong. Sorry. Right. That's why I couldn't make it. But, you know, you seem like kind of a different type of guy. Question, how did you make it so long?
Believe me, a lot of times it wasn't easy. Certainly, you know, as we get to a certain point with rank, it's easier to speak our minds, and we're less likely to have at least, you know, direct, you know, retribution. But sometimes it was hard. I think maybe sometimes it was just because, I don't know, was I diplomatic? I think I could be diplomatic sometimes, but you're right. I rustled feathers. Maybe that's why it took me so long to get promoted. I was passed over twice for each of my last two ranks. But eventually, I guess people who wear stars on their collars saw that I had something going, and they promoted me.
So when you retired, what was your last rank?
My last rank was a commander.
Okay.
Which in the Navy is the equivalent to a lieutenant colonel in the ground forces or air forces. Okay,
interesting. Okay, and I know you also speak a little bit of Italian. You went to Italy for a while. Am I right or not?
Well, I have visited Italy. I had an Italian girlfriend way back before I got married. But actually, I went to Italy on leave once. And so therefore got to get to Europe, and then from Germany to Italy on military aircraft. And then after that, we got Eurail passes, and we just went around. That was when we were more or less newlyweds, back around 2000.
Interesting. Very good. Now, at least I have some questions for you, because the opportunity that, you were there, especially during this time that fresh out of 9/11, after 9/11, that we're supposed to believe, at least they try to make us believe, that Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction, and Afghanistan was a threat. We had to go to Afghanistan. We have to go to Iraq. And then we realized today, even, of course, we already knew that something was wrong, many of us, since the beginning, but the real, let's say, funding for this operation, according to proof now, there is also a bill in the U.S. Congress connects the Saudis with the funding the, let's say, alleged, perpetrators of 9/11. So this bill is trying to at least let the families to sue the Saudis. But, of course, this bill, it was stopped by the Obama administration. And now, of course, there is also an attempt by public relations firms hired by the Saudi Arabia to recruit veterans to lobby against this bill that's supposed to allow a family that was a victim of 9/11 to sue the country for its role in financing the attack. I mean, at least let's have a chance to bring evidence. What do you think about this, first of all? What do you think, if you can speak freely now, I guess you can. What do you think, first of all, about 9/11? We're supposed to believe the official version from the government, or maybe there is much more for our eyes, for our brain, for the logic, just from the logic? What do you think?
Well, to begin with, honestly, I don't know completely what to believe about 9/11. I mean, there are certainly conflicting reports. I don't believe the official story, and I've heard some very credible lectures about what might have happened, whether it was directed energy weapons, whether there was, some, internal explosion. But, the idea, I think it was, is it Bill Lear? John Lear, Bill Lear's son. Yeah. Who is about the most credible pilot I think I've ever heard. I went to the FAA's website and I took a look at his credentials, which are completely impeccable. Yes. And he was saying that there's no way that an aircraft at those speeds could be flown dead center times 2 into the towers. Yeah. So I honestly don't believe that the airplanes could have been maneuvered like that. They're not made to fly at high speed, low down. One thing, Michael. Let's start from the easy thing, okay? Things that for sure there is not even for me to debate much. For example, there is a joke I used to say. There were 3 towers going down with 2 planes. How can be that possible? Absolutely. I mean, Building 7. Absolutely. Building 7 wasn't hit, and apparently even below the 2 main structures. If you looked into the basements, there was no debris. It's very strange, and so what was it? If the airplanes didn't hit it, and we can't believe our eyes because. Remember, there's an old saying that says, "Don't believe anything you hear, and only half of what you see." Yeah, it's true. Even people nearby, could have been fooled by technology. Yeah. And like I said, it's not clear to me what did happen, but it's pretty clear what did not happen. I agree. And I'm sure that a couple of guys with box cutters who had no experience flying airplanes could maneuver. 2 highly complex jets into direct center line hits on the towers, and then what was it, like 24 hours later or something, have another one fall down in free fall as a result. I mean, we're stupid, but we're not that stupid. Unfortunately, no, they got us stupid for a while, at least for a good part of this world, not just America. But one thing also, for example, that Building 7 for me was the first thing that said, wow, something it is wrong, something we've been lied to. But the second thing that I couldn't even really sleep at night was the Pentagon. The fact that there is a video of CNN, probably you watch it, the first video of the crew going to see the Pentagon after the alleged plane hit the Pentagon. The same CNN reporter said there is no trace of any plane, and the hole was about 15 feet, big before it started to collapse. So it is right there for me. It's like you're talking down to a stupid kid. I wouldn't do that to talk to a child. To tell him that type of story, and still, they're doing that to us. What do you think about the Pentagon? Well, the Pentagon actually was the first one that I looked at, and I said, "Wow, this is just crazy." I mean, first of all, where's the footage? Yeah. Talk about a place that has more cameras. Now, to be fair, I've never actually been to the Pentagon, but. So far as I understand, it has more video surveillance cameras than pretty much any place on Earth, yet there's no footage of this airplane hitting. Also, if you notice where it hit almost near ground level. Yeah. Good luck maneuvering an airplane. Are you kidding me? I mean, I couldn't have that with a Cessna. Well, no, I'm not sure you could have done it with a Cessna.
Yeah, I mean,
you'll think about the precision piloting that requires,
Yep.
and then the other part is like, where are the wings?
Yeah, where are the wings? We are
Right.
talking about titanium engines, okay? Huge Rolls-Royce titanium engines out of the blue, vaporized. And you see, and by the way, one thing we've been fighting so long, and we didn't get anything out of it. I want to see the footage. Let's see this plane. Why can we not see the plane crash into the Pentagon? It took like 2 years or more of lawsuit, and then finally they released some short, very couple of photograms, and there was no plane. It was just a blast. And then we had to listen to a rally, try to brainwash it. Can you see the plane? Can you see the plane? No, I don't see the plane. You can tell me how many times you want. I didn't see the plane. There is no plane. That's a fact. But I wanted to hear your feedback.
To me, it's just ridiculous. Yeah. And don't misunderstand. I think that I have friends who were actually in the Pentagon when it happened. In fact, one of my early colleagues from the military may have died there. I'm not sure, because I know someone with his name died there. Yeah. I'm not sure it was him. Someone with his name and his rank and his service. So, but he had kind of a fairly common Irish name. So I can't be completely sure, but I'm pretty sure that also one of my friends, who is now an admiral, was there on that day. But don't misunderstand me. I mean, I'm not saying that they would know what happened if they were inside.
No, they don't. It's. But one thing I tell you, go ahead.
Well, and the other thing is that people often believe the stories that they're given. But then again, Hitler and Goebbels said something about that too. They said you can't just tell a lie; you have to tell a whopper. You have to tell something that is so unbelievable that no one would believe that you have the audacity to make a lie like that.
It's true. It is true.
And then you have to say it over and over and over it again, and people will believe it. And they were right.
And the sad thing, a lot of people out there, that's why I wanted to bring you into that. People may say, wait a second, it's 2017. This happened 2001. I mean, why are you even still bringing this up? Because my point is there are still enough people out there, unfortunately, that they are I consider people in two different types. One, they are the real idiots, seriously, that they cannot even tie their shoes, and there is nothing much you can say. Their brain is limited. But there are people out there that they're smart. They know the truth, but they're afraid to even be, named. Maybe sometimes, I remember years ago, they used to call me a traitor, or they used to call me whatever, just because I want to know the truth. But my point is, if you have not the courage to stand for this country, not stand for our fellow Americans and who died, and also for all the soldiers out there that they are dying on a war, fake war, based on a lie, this is, for me, the most important, the biggest act of patriotism, to stand for the truth. That's what I'm trying to do this. And my goal, our goal here, even it's 15, 16, 17 years later, I don't care. We need to reach out as many people as we can, wake them up, to reach critical mass, to bring justice. Because I really believe that these perpetrators, we need to find them out. And for crimes like that, for homicide or mass murdering, and all these very serious crimes, there is no type of prescription time, okay? I mean, statute of limitation, they are forever. So we need to find justice. One day we need to do that. So I like to bring people like you who have a lot of credibility, and also, of course, things that normally other people don't know. And I want to start to say, wait a second, this is not about being a bunch of hippies, trying to criticize Bush. This is about standing for the truth. And if many people out there, they still believe that 9/11 was a bunch of, Arabs with the box cutters, and Saddam was the bad guy, and guess what? You need to wake up. That's all I'm trying to say here. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, let's back off on a couple of things. One is, was Saddam a bad guy? Sure, Saddam was a bad guy, but what does that have to do with us?
Yeah.
The other issue is, and I think you made a great, salient point about the idea of people going to kill and potentially die, and I'm not sure which one is worse, honestly, killing for a lie or dying for a lie. Where they would not otherwise go, based on this lie. In fact, I'm one of those people. After 9/11, I believed that we had been attacked. My heart sank, and I thought to myself, we don't live in the same country that I grew up in.
Yeah.
And so I thought, what is one of the only legitimate reasons to go to war? It's either to defend your country or to retaliate for an attack.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, has been used throughout U.S. history in order to justify going to these wars.
Mm-hmm.
After 9/11, honestly, 9/12, I was sure that they were going to call me up, and it took over a year. So I was actually, getting to the point where, okay, maybe they won't call me up. But when they called me up, people I knew, would ask me, well, are you scared? They tell me I was brave. Well, first of all, I was scared.
Yeah.
In fact, I was. When I got my orders, actually, they were first verbal orders, and the truth is, they didn't even know where I was going.
Wow.
And I said to myself, okay, well, not only have I been taking the paycheck for all these years where I'd said that I would go, but we've been attacked.
Yeah.
And so if I end up over there, then fair enough. This is my job. We've been attacked, and we can't have this. But the problem is, then in retrospect, I look back and I think, wow, I was a rube like everybody else. And I think that's probably as much of a painful issue for me as anything, because, what's interesting is, and I found this out actually very early in my career. I was still a midshipman, and I found out that, of course, midshipmen are not supposed to lie, cheat, or steal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the government can tell you official lies, and they are lies. They just don't present them that way because, of course, they don't want you to know that it's a lie. And so they hold the people who work for them in the military to a much, much higher standard than they, as an organization, are being held to, or hold themselves to.
Yeah.
And it's just disgusting. And this does not impugn any of my friends who are still, doing what they're doing, though, I hope that at least they've done some serious soul searching about what's going on, because they're patriotic people. They believe they're doing the right thing. Unfortunately, I think that, most people don't ever question their assumptions.
And this is the problem, not just with these governments, all governments in general. In Italy, the same thing. A government, they have pretty much the right to kill. If you do it, it's murder. If they do it, government, it's okay. It's part of national security or part of defending the special interest. Same story. They can lie and they can experiment, you for the goodness of the country. And this is sad, because as I said, they have this is not right. They have a different standard. I mean, we are not their cattle. The government is supposed to work for us. Instead, now, the last probably, especially speaking for this country, the last 100 years at least, the role is government, it changed. It's becoming our master. Now, question is, you said something. Go ahead.
Well, I would just say with that, I mean, I would say even that it's a little funny and perhaps naive, without insulting you, to believe that government ever was really intended to work for the people.
I agree.
Granted, the American experiment in republicanism was unique in that it was kind of the first one in the modern era, coming out of a long period of monarchies, who, by the way, get their authority, supposedly from God, and in fact they get it, from the church, so they dupe people that way.
Yes.
But if you look at the history, the ink wasn't even dry on the Constitution before government started to backpedal.
Yeah, this is true, but the point, at least here, we had an experiment that there was never tried or attempted anywhere else. And of course, we lost it pretty much, pretty faster. But at least the idea, the embryo of this country, the DNA, is different from every other places out there. Coming from Europe, for me especially, I still believe, for me, we have this right to have a government working for the people. Now it's up to us to take it back. It's up to us to, even struggle if we have to, but we have this right. In Europe, you never had a right. You never had a Bill of Rights. You never had the Declaration of Independence. You transition from the Roman Empire as a slave, and then you go through the Pope time as a slave, or in this case, you could be maybe one of the enforcers, but the point is, there's always some sort of, the nobility is always out there, and if you're not part of them, you are a slave. Even now, whatever they call a republic, it is not a republic. It's a class of slaves, and then there is the class of the elite. Pretty much what's happening right now also here. Now, one thing I want to ask you.
Sure.
When, right now, after you retired, you start to look at things probably with more critical eyes, you know very well that, the Constitution, you were talking about the Navy, is the only really constitutional form of force that we're supposed to have. Never we're supposed to have a standing army. Am I right or wrong?
That's correct. In fact, I would say that the Navy and the Marine Corps are the only two branches, because of course the Marine Corps is part of the Navy, that's authorized to be standing under the Constitution. The Constitution specifically says that Congress will raise armies and support a Navy. Well, raising an army has to suggest that the armies are not there most of the time.
Yes.
Supporting a Navy, however, and the requisite Marine Corps means that it's always supposed to be there. Yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons that I was able to be philosophically in military service as long as I was, is because it wasn't military service, it was naval service.
Yeah.
And our economy, and in fact, world commerce, and there is peace through commerce. Commerce is protected by navies.
Yes. And also, the idea of standing army on our soil, things that right now, of course, they change also with the Posse Comitatus has been repealed several times, at least since 9/11 with different pieces of legislations. Are you familiar with the National Defense Authorization Act of 2012? Signed by Obama with the Congress, of course, was Republican Congress, but signed by the President Obama, that pretty much says that there is a clause of indefinite detention. And I want to always remind that, because sometimes people say, I didn't hear that. Okay, no excuse. Pretty much what happens now, the government, or at least a branch of the government, can declare an enemy combatant or a potential terrorist that you don't need to go under any type of due process. Just because they suspect you to be a terrorist, they can detain you indefinitely. That means no access to any type of basic rights. You go back to before pre-Magna Carta. That means there is no body of the crime, no more habeas corpus. This belongs to a complete Middle Ages. And I want to remind people, today could be what they call the Arab guy with a turban, tomorrow could be to the right wing, or tomorrow could be to the left wing. It doesn't matter. Everybody deserves a due process. Otherwise, that power can be abused. What do you think about this, where we are right now? And they can use, by the way, the military to come and get you. Did you hear about that?
Well, and that's actually the most disturbing and disgusting part is this. First of all, the Patriot Act, or the NDAA in 2012 is not unprecedented. It's unprecedented as a law.
Yeah.
But the same thing was done by executive fiat.
Yes.
During the Civil War, and it was done again during World War II.
Yes.
So the idea that they suspend the Constitution means that the Constitution really doesn't mean anything as far as these people are concerned.
I agree. Yeah.
The Constitution, it's a nice piece of paper, and when people really believe in it, it's probably one of the greatest documents ever, written by man. But if it's not worth the paper it's written on, what's the point?
Exactly. No, exactly. You're right. Let's not forget World War II, what happened for all these American. They were Japanese heritage, or even Italian heritage, or German heritage, but mostly the Japanese. They went really destroy their lives. These people, they were Americans, and they had to spend times in a camp for years. That's so wrong. That's so terrible. Seriously.
Well, it's bad enough to be in a camp.
Yeah.
But what about the people who die in the camp? What about the fact that when they ship them off, they had to sell or abandon all of their property, their businesses, their homes, their property. That's not American.
No.
Or is it? And that's part of the problem. The only issue I have with any of this, and it sounds sometimes like I'm pretty anti-American, but I'm not, because this is still the best place. It just shows that there are a lot of other places that really suck worse.
Yeah. And it's our job, it's our duty, for you especially, I tell you, and for people even like me, even I never serve in this country, but I took an oath. And when you took the oath as you, to defend this republic, okay, that's part, for me, your oath doesn't have an expiration date. And the fact that you need at least to speak up, that's the first duty we have, in my opinion. What do you think?
Well, it's the Constitution. First of all, the Constitution is based or supposed to be based on certain natural rights. So it doesn't even just, people want to make the argument that it only applies to Americans. It doesn't just apply to Americans. It's a structural document, but it's also a philosophical document. Mm-hmm. And my biggest problem is, when you're 18 or you're 21, whatever, and you raise your hand, and you take an oath to the Constitution, you really don't understand what that means. But as you go on through life and you study it and you think about it, it's beautiful. It also has a lot of weaknesses, but it's beautiful, and it's not even so much the Constitution that we're defending, it's the ideals underlying the Constitution.
I agree. It's the ideals. For me, it starts with the Declaration of Independence. That's the first one, that document that normally they don't want to talk anymore about, especially at schools. It's almost a subversive document, but that's the spirit of America, the first founding document. Now, I'm sure you heard about General Smedley Butler. Is one of my favorite generals. I would like to think, people sometimes they try to name us or label us just because we don't fit in the profile of, if you are, a patriot, you must be pro-war, okay? If you are a lefty, you must be anti-war. I would like to remind out there to all the people that they're still stuck in this sort of a cage, there was a general that probably many of you may not have heard. He died in 1940. He was one of the most decorated U.S. Marine Corps general. Okay, he was a major general. His name was Smedley Butler. Give us a little bit of tell us, more important, tell to the people, what do you think about General Butler, about his mission to speak the truth about the real purpose of the military, unfortunately, after the last, as you said, what is exactly found out, this guy? Because this guy wasn't a hippie, okay? He was a real military guy, but he was the most critic against the misuse or abuse of the military forces under the, let's say, control of the bankers. That's pretty much his mission. What do you think about him?
Well, first of all, we talk about Smedley Butler as being a major general, which means a 2-star general in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And today that's a big deal, but it's not nearly as big a deal now as it was then.
Okay.
Because that's as high as you could go in the Marine Corps at the time. And he is the only Marine Corps general officer and one of only, I think it's a couple of dozen people ever to get the Medal of Honor twice. Now,
wow.
You can't do that anymore. But to get it even once is amazing.
Yeah.
And of course he got it for his commands. He got it, he didn't get it because he went and he, charged a machine gun nest. He did it because, he went into places where people probably thought he couldn't accomplish his mission, and he did it anyway. But one of the things he realized during his military service, actually, I don't even think it was during. I think it was either at the very end,
yes,
or it was after he retired, was that he had been duped, that he had been an enforcer for Wall Street and the big banks. Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm a capitalist. I believe in free enterprise. I believe in free trade. I believe in contracts and agreements between people with no interference, in the middle, as long as those relationships are only between the people who are making the agreements.
I agree.
But he realized that he was being played, and that all of the people in the military were being played, and that's the same thing that's going on today. He retired a little bit after World War I, and he saw that millionaires and even billionaires, and I'm talking about billionaires in 1918 money, were being made off of government contracts during the war. So an immense amount of wealth was flowing into a few pockets, and who was paying for it? It was the soldiers. It was the ones who were getting killed. It was the ones who were getting PTSD and seeing their friends killed, even though they didn't call it PTSD back then. They really didn't understand it very well. And it was their families. So it was a really very small number of people who were benefiting from this, but there were a lot of people who were being abused. And in fact, the military, by its being duped, is the one that gets abused. So, I agree absolutely. His book was called War is a Racket.
Yes.
People can read it online, and it's very short. It's only about 20 pages. But maybe you can link to that if that's something that you can do on your website.
Yeah, I'll do that. It's a good idea. I would like to put a PDF. There is I always say if you want to buy, that's fine, but you can download it for free. Please go to lovegunsfreedom.com. I will post the link on the homepage at the bottom so everybody can have a chance. And this is so important what you're saying, because it's a reminder to all of us to stop completely following the orders, because what they're doing now, the trick is this. They fly the flag, they put some music on, and everybody must stand up and bow their heads down. And at that point, if you have a question, you're a traitor. That's wrong. That's the way they've been manipulating us for many, many years. And I tell you, this is the time to stick up, first of all, for really, if you want to be a patriot, always questions authority, especially questions the people that they're using our colors, our flags, for their personal nefarious purposes. That's my point. Question for you. We went from the Bush to the Obama administration. I was probably one of the few Republicans completely calling Bush names. For me, is a complete evil man, like he was his father, and as it was Clinton. But the point is, people think, Bush must be a good Republican because he's a conservative. But my point is, for me, he was part of this plan. I don't see no difference between him and Obama. It was just a continuation. What is your opinion as a man who served this country? That probably Bush was also, Jr. was also your commander-in-chief. What do you think about him and in the role of 9/11 and how he treated this country with with the different pieces of legislation that he pushed, like the Patriot Act 1 and 2, Military Commission Act, and things like that? What do you think?
Well, first of all, Bush was my last commander-in-chief.
Your last.
So,
okay.
The last time I was on active duty, Bush was the commander-in-chief. It was during Bush's administration that I started to realize that things were going wrong. Now, I retired, a little bit more than halfway through his administration, and I was deployed, pretty early on in it. But it was actually when I was in Afghanistan, and I thought that we were there to get the bad guys and go home. I really thought that's what the mission was.
Yeah.
And then I was being briefed one day. I think it was by a couple of Marine Corps majors, who were telling me what was going on as far as, like civil aid projects and so forth.
Yeah.
And also infrastructure that we were putting in for our own garrisons. And I was learning then, and this is early 2003, that they were planning that we would be there for at least the next decade.
Wow.
I showed up because I thought that we were going to, go get Osama bin Laden because supposedly he was the big mastermind. Let's say, and then we were going to go home. Well, guess what? When I learned that, I realized that they were telling us one thing at home.
Yeah.
And let's say, and the reality was much different.
Yeah.
So, you have to, at that point, one has to start asking what the motivations are. And when things like the Patriot Act come out, which actually, to be honest, must have come out before I went, but I didn't know very much about it.
Yeah.
I started to realize that something was amiss, and also that, the idea that you call something a Patriot Act,
yeah,
and then you use it to limit your people's freedoms even more, and it's completely Orwellian. And that's when when I got back, that's when I started studying more about free market economics and more of the Constitution and more of the history. And it's just it just goes on. And I love this country as much as anybody could love a homeland where they were born. You probably love it even more because you left yours to come here.
Exactly, it's true. It's true. I had to live intentionally, and I left my family behind. So it's a big burden. Question is, after Bush, you woke up. At least you had a chance to start to really operate in a critical thinking, especially after you retired. Now we transition from 8 years of Bush to 8 years of Obama, Mr. Nobel Prize. As I said, this show is not about parties. I just look at facts. I bash everybody, or I support everybody who deserves support. What is your opinion about 8 years under the Obama administration? Did it really deserve the Nobel Prize?
I just have to laugh at that. It's like the Nobel Prize
for
for what? I mean, the Nobel Prize for being elected president.
I don't know.
It completely discredited the whole notion of the Nobel Prize.
Uh-huh.
If anybody pays any attention to it at all anymore, why bother? It's like somebody makes a speech and they give them a Nobel Prize. In fact, Nobel, I can't ever remember his first name, is probably rolling in his grave still now, 8 years later?
Yeah.
Let's say, because he established the Nobel Prize, the Nobel Peace Prize, which was the first one, largely out of guilt because he had invented dynamite.
Wow.
And he invented dynamite in order to make mining safer.
Yeah.
But they ended up using it for warfare, and it completely transformed warfare. And sort of, and he felt guilty. So out of penance, he established this Nobel Peace Prize. And then, of course, they're just basically pissing on his grave by giving it to someone who not only didn't do anything, but then went on to continue wars and make unconstitutional wars, and nobody in Congress held him accountable. There were a few who tried, but nobody in Congress, or should I say Congress as a whole, never held him accountable for Libya, for what he did in Syria, for what they've been doing with Saudi Arabia in Yemen. None of it. It was really disgusting. And the worst part is that, people, including in my own family, who look back at Obama, all they want to see is his skin color, and therefore he must have been wonderful because of his skin color. And honestly, wasn't the whole point of the civil rights movement so that we didn't look at skin color, so we didn't judge people by how they looked on the outside?
Exactly. You're right. And this is sad. As I said, for me, the worst part is not what Obama did or what Congress allow him to do. Is also about all the supporters that they were just a few months before or a few years before, exposing Bush, or at least, let's say, protesting Bush for his illegal wars, all his act of wars that, first of all, killing civilians, and all this stuff that he was doing. And now, out of the blue, they're all silent. They look at me like, nothing happens here. Everything's fine. That's, for me, the most disgusting part, seriously. Question, what do you think about President Trump?
Honestly, I
honestly.
don't know yet.
Okay.
Let's see. Honestly, personally, I don't like the idea of power in the executive being expanded as much as it's been. because that wasn't supposed to be the whole point. In fact, if you really ask me, I believe in the Articles of Confederation more than I believe in the Constitution.
Yes.
Though we're not going back to that.
No.
But it's just, so far as I can tell, Trump kind of has his heart in the right place. I mean, for anybody who would actually want to be president, because, I really have to wonder about, let's say the mental state of anybody who would actually want to, preside over the executive branch. But it doesn't seem to me, at least, that he believes that there's only one branch of government.
Mm-hmm.
And that's clearly what Obama believed, because it's like, oh, okay, fine. You guys don't want to play ball, then I'll just do it myself.
Exactly. And my point is this: I completely agree with you on the limited role of the presidency that, when it comes down to make executive orders. The executive order used to be just from, hey, let's get some more paperwork for whatever the office. I mean, it was never like now legislate. The legislation part supposed to be done always by Congress. But for me now, if President Trump is using executive orders to remove previous executive orders, I mean, I don't think it's fair that Obama said before he left office, I really hope President Trump is going to go through Congress to remove my executive orders. No, I said that on video. I couldn't believe it. I mean, that was insane, So let's see how it goes. If he can stop to his executive orders to at least remove the unconstitutional executive order that President Obama did, I'm okay with that. The point is, after that, we need to bring back the basic idea of this republic. My only concern is this. Is it going to fall for the trap, especially, the president, after all, is surrounded by many elements that he cannot even much control unless he really wants to. When it comes down to foreign policy, I mean, he's still going to drop bombs on Syria or going to Ukraine, things that we have no business, in my opinion. What do you think?
Well, actually, that's one of the parts that really concerns me. I don't remember what it was I was listening to, but there was someone who was discussing. It might have even been on the Tom Woods program, who was actually just giving us a background into what was going on in the Middle East and also with Russia. And, obviously I have, a little bit of a background in education as far as, what goes on in NATO and why NATO was formed and the history of NATO and, blah, blah, blah. Certainly I have served, with forces, within NATO. But what's been happening since the Eastern Bloc fell, since the Soviet Union unraveled, is that NATO has been expanding eastward toward Russia.
Yeah.
And Russia's getting kind of nervous.
Yeah.
And in fact, it was just I guess it was 2 months ago now, because Obama was still in office. He started sending troops to Poland and possibly Lithuania, and certainly other of the former Soviet states, which are now parts of NATO.
Yeah.
And can you imagine? I mean, can you imagine that there would be a Russian president sending troops to like Canada?
Yeah, or Mexico. Yeah.
Well, exactly. Or Cuba.
Yeah.
We've done this before. Let's say this tape is played before. Not very long after I was born.
Yeah.
In Cuba, and did we get all freaked out by it? You bet we did, and we almost went to war over it. So what's with putting the pressure on Russia?
I agree.
And don't misunderstand me. I'm not a Russian fan. In fact, I don't speak Russian. I've never been to Russia. I grew up, in the Cold War. I believe that Putin is probably a thug and a kleptomaniac. Okay. However, what you don't want to do is unnecessarily poke a bear.
No, and one thing I like about Trump, I tell you, it was just a few days ago on the news. is when they were asking him, about, Russian being killers and being bad guys. And Trump said, wait a second, you think our guys, they're good? I mean, they have the only killers? I'm trying to paraphrase it now. Do you think our country is so innocent? I mean, the fact that at the end of the day, everybody does their interest. And for me, what they're trying to do is they try to demonize this threat like Russia, because they try to demonize like Afghanistan, like they try to demonize. They need always a boogeyman, because the military-industrial complex, that's the only way it can stay in business for 50 more years. That's the point.
Well, actually, funny how you should say that, because for those who study history, go back and look at World War I.
Yeah.
How was that even really different? Say, oh, we're going to stay out of the war. We're going to stay out of the war. But before long, we started saying, oh, well, the Germans are the bad guys. And in fact, it was because they demonized Germany that Hitler even was able to get a foothold.
Yeah.
Because they, what did Germany do? Germany didn't do anything that France and Britain hadn't done. They were just the last man standing on the other side, so they had to demonize them and blame them for the whole thing. Well, when you start to do that and you make things bad enough, then wait 20 years and what happens?
Yeah. I agree.
Bad stuff happens.
Listen, I want to say, first of all,
President Trump telling Fox News in a brand new interview he respects Russian President Vladimir Putin.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up.
That's not new. Here's what is new. The president acknowledges that Putin may be a killer, but adds, quote, we've got a lot of killers. Listen.
Do you respect Putin? I do respect him. Do you? Why? Well, I respect a lot of people, but that doesn't mean I'm going to get along with him. He's a leader of his country.
This may be part of the issue I was
better to get along with Russia than not.
IMing you about. Why don't you call me right back, and hopefully you can.
I'm here, Michael. I'm here. I was just playing a little bit of President Trump say about you respect Putin, and it's a part from the CNN. I will wanted to play that because I think it's important. The fact that finally we have at least a man that he does not fall for the trap that, we need to always point out a bad guy out there, but a little more objective. And what he was trying to say that, yes, we have killers too. I mean, not everybody's perfect. There is no good and bad. I believe always there is somebody between the black and white. There is a gray area and everything. At least I want to give you the floor. You have 2 more minutes. Whatever topics you want to touch, whatever message you want to say before we close.
Well, all I really want to say is that, first of all, people need to think for themselves. They need to be critical and not believe everything they hear at face value. Let's say, but the other thing is that, there are certain things that you give me optimism when it comes to Trump. However, I didn't vote for Obama. I didn't like Obama. I thought Obama was a socialist. But once he got elected, I tried to be optimistic. And of course, that didn't turn out very well. But, so therefore I'm also guardedly optimistic, as I was with Obama, about Trump. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. But again, government is best that governs least. And I mean, I would, the idea that people, that some third party should get between, peaceful actions, and relationships between other people. It's like someone walking down the street hand in hand with someone and have some third party come in completely unknown to them and uninvited and pushing themselves into that relationship. It's just not right. And we'll see how much this new government wants to do that, even though, it's looking like it wants to do it less than the previous one. So,
very good.
We'll see.
Listen, I really appreciate your input and the time to share your opinions, because I tell you, I want to be sure that people out there understand that our soldiers, our sailors, are human beings, and they have a brain, and of course they have their opinions. Unfortunately, sometimes when they are in service, they cannot express themselves, but we need to know their feedback. We do need to know. I treasure your experience. I really treasure the things you've seen, and also your thinking process, because I think that's the most patriotic thing to do is to speak up, looking and searching for truth. And when it comes from people like you, I think it also gets more credibility. So I want to thank you for that.
Well, thank you, Luca, and I appreciate you're talking with me today. Most of the veterans I know, honestly, after a while, once they've gotten out of service, as long as they don't glorify those years, too much, which a lot do, they start to come to a lot of the conclusions that I've come to. But they keep you so busy when you're actually on active duty in the military that you really don't even get a chance to think about these things. In fact, you're discouraged about thinking about politics at all. And, and that can be very dangerous. I hope they still teach the Constitution within the military, because certainly they taught it to me, as I was getting ready to become an officer, but I just don't know.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Okay, guys, this is luca-zanna. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom on KTOX 1340 AM. We are ready for our number 2. It's going to be about guns. We're going to have a great guest and more news, more exciting news. Now, remember, this show is not about entertainment. This is about trying to learn things that normally you cannot learn from other, medias out there. It's just an humble local radio show, but it's becoming more and more international through the internet, and I appreciate your support. Please, if you want to support the show, don't forget, there are many ways. Go to www.zannacoffee.com. Great coffee, the best organic coffee you can get. And more important, of course, if you are anywhere around the world, you can download any of my songs. www.zanna.us. More than 100 songs I wrote and published myself. Even just with 99 cents, you can keep the show free. And we can have freedom of speech ever, always. Thank you very much. Don't go away. Ready for our number 2.
Hey, you. Yes, I'm talking to you. You deserve a break. Enjoy a moment of indulgence. It's time for Zanna Coffee. Guilt-free pleasure. Zanna Coffee is the organic coffee to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Only the best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world that I selected. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade certified, sustainable organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Get your coffee bag now. Don't be cheap. Life is too short and you deserve the best. Zanna Coffee. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on United States.fm network. Do you want social justice? Now I give you social justice. The Zanna way. Don't trade on us. The Freedom Rifle by Zanna. The most affordable military-grade semi-automatic AR-15 rifle in M4 configuration. Chambered in 223 Wild that can shoot both 5.56 NATO and 223 Remington. 4 minutes of angle for just $499, made in the USA. Get your Freedom Rifle now. We need every law-abiding American armed with knowledge and at least one military rifle ready to defend good against evil. With every Don't Trade on Us rifle, you will get free parchment replica of the United States Constitution, free digital CD Don't Trade on Us, free ebook How to Become a Rifleman, free t-shirt Slaves Are Never Armed, I Am Not a Slave, free 30-round magazine where allowed by the law, free laser engraved ejection port Don't Trade on Us for just $499. Go to www.freedomrifle.com, www.freedomrifle.com. Get your Freedom Rifle now.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and on United States.FM network. Second hour. It's all about guns. I'm going through my journey. The journey to learn. Because I said, it's beautiful. It's an experience. It's something that it never ends. And I had the opportunity a few months ago to find this Firearm Institute in Las Vegas that they are specialized, especially with the NRA certification. And I started my journey, something that normally I thought, I really don't want to do that. I have so many things I'm doing already, but you know what? I like it because it gives me more discipline when I start to talk about topics, especially when it comes down to, even now, of course, I teach CCW classes in Arizona. I'm pretty excited. I love already the experience, but it's also personal. It's for me, for my knowledge. It is not even because I need to do something. Technically, I don't need to do anything. I can stay home. I'm fine. But I like to do this because it's something that really enriches me to find and learn new things. Now, also, when I go to these places, I always meet new people. And I'm always interested when I see, especially ladies, normally mostly are guys, involved into this. Why? I always told you. First of all, the idea that the gun issue or the gun matter is about guys, it's wrong. I think the gun is a great equalizer. So it's very important that women out there understand that this is the opportunity to really be equal. You want to somehow, you don't want to do anything, but let's say somebody's tried to use deadly force against you or try to rape you, and is a guy, it normally can be double your size. Guess what? Now you have some really equal rights, okay? When you own a gun, especially when you know how to use it. And then, of course, I like the idea that women are getting involved because it's a beautiful family issue. It's a family matter, husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend and girlfriend. I don't care. But the point is the idea you go together, you enjoy this beautiful, right. For me, this is not a hobby. It's a right, but also can be fun. And at the same time, what happens? When the woman gets involved, the husband is happier. Because, say, I want to buy that gun. Oh, yeah, buy one for me too. Great. So there are no conflicts. And also more important is, we need to share this heritage, these rights, and this knowledge to the next generation. Normally it's the dad. That's true. The father. But guess what? The mother is really important too. What if the mother does not understand what's going on? And when father wants to go to the range, say, no, it's dangerous. No, do that. No, she understands and she may also be helping. That's great. So anyway, let me cut short. Otherwise we fall asleep here. I met this very incredible lady, which is really into this gun culture. And she was there doing the same class I was attending. Exactly the class is a chief RSO, range safety officer, certified by the NRA. So it's an interesting class. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Anyway, her name is Machine-gun-allie. I guess I got it right. Allie, are you there?
I'm here. Thank you, Luca.
Okay, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Nice to talk to you again. First of all, I'm always terrible at pronouncing names. Did I say right, Allie, with my accent?
You did, yes. My name's Allison, but I go by Machine-gun-allie. Yes.
Okay. First question. I like the idea of Machine-gun-allie. I need to get a nickname myself. Luca, Glock 17. What is exactly why you have? I think I know the answer, but I don't want to guess. Why do you call yourself like that? Do you have a machine gun?
I don't own a machine gun, but I started with the name of Machine-gun-allie because it was kind of given to me because I had an interest in all kinds of machine guns and high-powered rifles and anything that really could cause a big boom. So from Allison, it went to Machine-gun-allie.
Interesting.
So it was kind of given to me.
Very good. And the question is, we met briefly at the class. We were doing a class that wasn't no shooting involved. It was about the chief range safety officer. But I know that you do a lot of activities. At least I went to your Facebook page, and I know you also have a website. Correct me if I'm wrong. And give all the information where people can also take a look at what you do, please. Like a website.
Sure. So my husband and I actually own a company called Campbell Defense Academy. Mm-hmm. And with that academy, we actually teach all kinds of NRA-certified pistol programs, rifle programs. We're going to be teaching CCW classes. And in addition, I actually teach long-distance rifle shooting for people that are looking to do some precision shooting. And I also teach a program called ACT. It's an Armed Civilian Tactics course. It's basically a combination of self-defense and people who want to carry a firearm or are thinking about carrying a firearm. Because unfortunately, in this day and age, 85% of people that get shot with their own firearm because they can't retain it or they don't know how. So this class actually bridges that gap between being able to defend yourself physically and being able to defend yourself with a firearm.
I like the idea, by the way. It's really important because it's true, normally, statistically, most of these violent encounters, they're all a colloquial distance, let's say 3-5 yards tops, at least 70% of them. And we know very well that the average person, even the most trained person, at that distance is not going to have the complete time to completely present the gun into a fight and shoot like you were shooting at the average, let's say 7-10 yards. It's going to be on you. The assailant is going to be probably, you can smell and you can, share the same blood probably for a moment. I mean, it's going to be very harsh and physical. So if you don't have the extra training, nobody really gives you the training. I think it's a good idea because it's a niche that normally not many other, let's say, schools cover. How did you come out with this idea? Was it just an idea, or you had some background also in martial arts or things like that?
No, actually, I was certified. I was trained and certified down in Colorado. In Denver, Colorado, there's a martial arts studio. It's called Colorado Krav Maga. And I'm a Krav Maga student. I've been studying Krav Maga for several years, along with a couple of other different martial arts. I studied Hapkido, Jiu-Jitsu. My husband's actually a Marine, retired Marine Corps officer, and he actually trained in something called the McMAP program, which is the martial arts program for the Marine Corps. And so we learned that as well. And during this program in Colorado, what happens is they decided to combine the two, firearms and Krav Maga base. And so I had to go down there for 4 days and get certified. It was a nice, tough testing period, and 12-hour days of nonstop fighting and shooting. So everything that I love. And from there, I'm the only person that was certified from California to Colorado. So there's very few of us that actually can teach this course, but it's very well worth it once you're able to teach this.
Well, I like it.
And, it's a great program, and it's not just for men, it's for women as well. I actually run one of the largest women's shooting groups here in Vegas. It's called Vegas Gun Gals. And, it's 1,300 plus women. They're all local that want to get into shooting or get into shooting competitions or long-range rifle or even just self-defense. Because their husbands might be police officers or maybe their husbands shoot and they've never shot. And all these different things that give them that little bit of curiosity of, well, maybe I can shoot, maybe, I'm curious about it, or maybe they're just gung-ho and they're like, you know what, I can do this. Let me get into it. So we've got people that have never shot before and people that are in competition. So all women are welcome. And I've been teaching this program for a couple of months now, and a lot of women show up for this class, and they feel a lot more confident walking by themselves at nighttime in a gun, like a parking garage, or let's say that they're a single mom at home. They feel a little bit more confident being at home by themselves with their kids. So it's a great way to gain confidence and to have that extra little support of knowing a little bit more about your surroundings and how to handle a gun if you need to.
Let's say the name again of this group, please. And if there's a website.
It's called Vegas Gun Gals. That's the group. It's through Facebook, so you just go on Facebook and you look up Vegas Gun Gals, and you'll find our page. But we also run our page through the Campbell Defense Academy, which is trainwithcda.com.
Wow. I'm going right now on Facebook to Vegas Gun Gal. One second, I'm kind of slow sometimes.
Vegas Gun Gal.
Yeah, I drank some wine. I'm sorry, okay? I shouldn't do it on the air, but guess what? I can't do it because I'm not maneuvering anything, so I'm fine, FCC. Don't bust my butt.
That's right. We do live in Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas Gun Gal, okay. And this is exciting, by the way. I mean, I like to see women involved into this, and I'm just curious. This is just for ladies only, I guess, right? Am I right or wrong? I mean, a guy cannot show up there with a wig.
No.
Okay.
Vegas Gun Gals, the reason why Vegas Gun Gals is actually so incredibly popular is because I actually interact and meet every single candidate that wants to become a member. A lot of these groups, nothing against them, they're great groups, but a lot of groups might have hostile ex-boyfriends or ex-husbands or jealous boyfriends or girlfriends of the ex-boyfriends that are trying to spy on these girls. So they want somewhere that's actually private and somewhere that they can, learn about this stuff without anybody finding out that they're learning about it. And
Great
so
idea.
I vet every single person, and everybody that's in there is in there for a reason. So it's a very protected group, and we make sure that there's no chance for any kind of
I like it. I like it a lot. This is
call
great.
It intrusion.
No, it's good. It's right. Like, for example, when I teach CCW classes, the last thing I want is to advertise or share on Facebook who are these people, because maybe they have some issue, they want to keep it private. Some of them, they're single ladies, and they don't want to know, for example, to the disgruntled ex-husband or whatever psycho is maybe, stalking them, that they have a gun, they may even know how to use it. So let's keep this, I think is great. And on top, another thing, I don't want to say all the guys are pigs, but, I know that the guys,
no, not at all.
They're excited. Sometimes they go out there and you're surrounded by all these ladies, and you see the guns, and they may get excited first with the guns and then with the ladies, and that's not right. You gotta be there focusing. Seriously, I can see, because I'm a guy, and I want to go shoot, I want to focus. I don't want to get distracted, and I'm kind of,
And even with the Vegas Gun Gals group, we have a lot of meetups that are just for the girls, but once a month we do a Vegas Gun Gals date night. Mm-hmm. So let's say that these girls do have, a happily married husband that, he wants to be involved with the shooting as well. Once a month we do have the husbands and the boyfriends come out and they can shoot with their girlfriends or wives,
Okay.
We have events where it's family events, so if you have children over a certain age, they can come out and shoot with the husband and the wife too. So it's not that we're trying to avoid men, but we want to make sure that this is a women-focused group so that they have somewhere to go, and then we can welcome the guys in as they need to. With the ACT program, we have both men and women in the class, and we have a women's only class. So some women, they've had traumatic experiences, whether they're domestic violence victims or rape victims. So we have a women's only version for them.
I understand.
Because they have some post-traumatic stress going on, so we don't want men involved. And then we have a couples program where it's men and women involved, and so that way they can practice with their significant other.
I think it's great. But also, people can date after, okay? But when you do the training, you focus on that. And I tell you, even from a point, when I go to the range, sometimes there are, for example, out of the blue, sometimes show up some ladies next to me, okay? And as much, I like to I go there for an hour or 2 hours, and I don't want to chat. I don't want to start to have any conversation about the weather or what type of, other excuse to talk. I want to go there and train. And it's human. I'm not saying that is wrong, but it's human. Sometimes, you find somebody from the opposite sex and you try to be friendly. And sometimes that's the wrong place. The range is place to train hard and focus. And also you don't want to get distracted. I tell you, I'm very conscious about safety.
That's true.
I want to start to look around all these ladies. No, it would be very disaster. Now, do you have like a place, like you go to a specific range without giving too much information, or you have like a studio where you train? What is exactly your location? In case people want to.
Well, with the ACT program, we actually train in Boca Park in Summerlin. We train at a martial arts studio so that it's completely safe. We actually have it's completely padded from floor to floor. Mm-hmm. We actually partnered with the Victory Martial Arts family, and they've graciously let us use their facility to make sure that everything's safe and it's a secure place. We lock the doors and nobody else can come in when we're training, so that it's a very safe and secure place to train. When we're doing our shooting events, it depends on the event. Sometimes we go out to the desert and we do a lot of desert shoots. Mm-hmm. That way we have a little bit more freedom of what we're able to do. And then other times we go to different local gun ranges, whether it's Discount Firearms or American Shooters or 702, and we put together an event. We'll post it up on Facebook if it's going to be just for girls or if it's going to be anybody's welcome, and we make sure that everybody knows where the location's going to be. We try to make sure that we patronize every single place, local to Vegas, whether it's way out at Clark County or even Boulder Gun Club, so everybody gets a little bit of Vegas Gun Gals.
Listen, what is funny, because the show is a 3-hour show. The final hour we talk about love, okay? So it's funny. We go from first hour to police state and martial law and whatever that's happening to this. Second hour we go guns, and then final hour we go, for example, datings. We have a group called freedomlovers.us, the like-minded people. We have a free website where people can join, like-minded people. And now I see, Vegas Gun Gals date night. I think this is great. And I was going to also share that on the website. And I have a question. For example, do you do like a night event for singles? Let's say single ladies maybe want to meet single guys. I don't know. Just an idea.
We do. We actually do a Vegas Gun Gals date night, drinks and mingling. So basically it's for single ladies that are looking to maybe meet another guy that's like-minded into firearms and self-defense and stuff. So I actually partner with a lot of the different self-defense and firearm groups that are on Facebook that have men involved, and we post a date night for singles. And we go out to a gun range, we specify the gun range, and we shoot, and they get to meet each other and do some shooting activities, different competition stuff. And then from there, we actually all go out to a restaurant that's been pre-reserved. We get the entire patio area. It's all been set up for dating, like a date-style table. And they get to meet and mingle with all the different gentlemen and different ladies, and they get to talk and stuff and have a wonderful lobster dinner.
Wow.
And there's a couple of different drawings and different prizes and stuff that we give away.
And I like your targets, by the way. I'm right now, by the way, I ask you for friendship. Hopefully you don't ignore me.
No, that's fine.
I'm just playing. Anyway, and I see you got a beautiful targets. I like the Vegas Gun Gals date night with the little heart at the center. Very nice.
Right.
And
thank you.
I mean, this is great. I like, this is the spirit of the show, and this is the spirit, of course, in my opinion, of enjoying freedom, doing things that you like, and also offering a great service, and and being creative. And of course, create your own future, create things that, from an idea, after all, this was an idea. I'm sure it was an idea. That's pretty much, and I like that, coming from a young lady like you. This is beautiful. I really like it. And of course, your husband, I'm sure, is with you, supporting you in this one. Let's talk about money-wise, because I like always to give, you don't have to give me all the details, but for example, one of these classes, like the ACT class, the mixed martial arts with gun, okay, for close combat. What type of, let's say, first of all, how many hours during the week or during the month, people can train? I mean, there is like a schedule?
We have a schedule. The ACT program is broken up into 4 levels. There's levels 1, 2, 3, and 4. Level 1 is actually 6 hours. That's going to be inside the martial arts studio of nothing but classroom time and self-defense training. And then from there, the following day, we actually go out for 4 hours and we shoot in the desert for live fire drills and live fire practice. So it's approximately a 10 to 12-hour day combined between those 2 days.
Wow.
Level 2, 3, and 4 are all approximately 7 hours. So it's just over about 35 hours total for the entire ACT program. We try to do at least one level 1 every month and level 2 every month. And then level 3 is actually going to be getting kicked off at the end of March to the beginning of April. We'll be doing our first level 3.
And ACT, everybody can join, even guys, right? I mean, if I want to join,
yes.
Can I? Okay, great. And money-wise, how much would be, for example? Just to have an idea. So we can share this opportunity with our, we are not that far. Mohave County, this show, it's broadcast between Laughlin, Bullhead, of course, and the Mohave County area. It goes all the way down to Lake Havasu. And, of course, Needles. So we know it's not that far, guys. I go there in the morning, especially now we have a difference of hour. There is beautiful highway, especially in the weekend. It's always pretty much, I don't know which day you do it, but anyway.
All those places are great for motorcycle rides, too. Yeah. So I've been out to all of those places. So it's not that long of a drive.
Not even 2 hours.
But, the program, the ACT program, the level 1 is actually $199. Level 2, 3, and 4 is $150 each program.
Okay.
Or each level. However, if you decide that you want to do all 4 levels, then I give it a significant discount since you want to book all in advance.
Wow. Okay.
And the big thing is that with the ACT program, because it's something that I really feel passionate about and it's something that I really want, especially women and men to know and how to learn. If, let's say that you want to join the program and you have a wife or a girlfriend or a sister or a brother or somebody that you want to join the program with you, then you actually both get a discount if you take a class together.
That's a great idea. I like that. Normally I do that during the CCW classes. I gave free class to super discount for single moms that they show up with, they don't show up with a Corvette. One time I had a single mom showing up with a brand new, or at least what it looks like a brand new, was it the car? I forgot. Mustang, okay? Say, single mom, I think you can afford $85 for the class. But beside that, normally I do that, free. And when they come couple, they get a discount too. I like that. Anyway, great.
Because of March being, March is the Domestic Violence Awareness Month, anybody that, and this is men or women, anybody that can bring to me a police report or a stay out of area restriction, anything like that for 1 year, they actually get half off the program.
Wow.
And then also any law enforcement get half off the program also.
Wow, really good, really good. And when did you start to get into guns? I mean, there's always a story behind any one of us. You know, sometimes people went to, you know, like your husband, you know, he joined probably the Marines, or some other people, you know, they just the passion. How did you get? I mean, your dad, who gave you that type of gun culture? I'm just curious. For a lady, it's kind of different.
Well, I never shot my very first gun I shot was when I was 18 years old. I had just turned 18, and I've always had a very large passion for guns. My father was a martial arts instructor and self-defense instructor for the Navy SEALs way back in the day, and so I already had a passion for self-defense and for fighting and martial arts and military. So I was already very inept to wanting to get into firearms. So just after my 18th birthday, I went to a gun store, a gun range out in Seattle, Washington, and I shot a 50 cal Desert Eagle marksman special pistol. So it was extremely loud. It was extremely powerful for an 18-year-old that had never shot a gun before.
Wow.
And the guy that had me shoot it, he said, the reason why I had you shoot this is so that you can shoot anything from now on. It doesn't matter what caliber, it doesn't matter what size of the gun. This is the biggest gun out there, so now you'll never have a fear for guns. And it's true. I've always gone head first into anything when it comes to firearms. I'm very excited about it, and I have a passion for firearms since then. So when I met my husband, him being a 7-year Marine Corps veteran, and he was high expert pistol, high expert rifle, so when we met, we both got into guns, and we started shooting, and we realized, you know, you can meet some fun people out at the gun range. And so I made like a little Facebook page for people who I've met and who shoot with me. And then from there, it started growing to a bigger group. And so I finally made a Vegas Gun Gals page for girls that I've met that wanted to shoot. And then from there, it became Campbell Defense Academy, because, you know, that's all you really need is a passion in something. And if you could find out that this can be something you can do for a career, then it's even better. You never have to work a day in your life.
Very good. I think you know, this is really a beautiful story. What I like, you know, it is, I don't know, I like women with guns in general, because I think it's empowering. It's a sense of, like, you want to talk about equal rights? Yes, you know, and I like the fact that, you know, you're also sharing this passion with other ladies out there, because I really believe, you know, when we have more law-abiding people, regardless of the sex, gender, of course, I don't care what sex you are, but, you know, ladies, I think it's always better, because at the end of the day, you know, they have a double role, as I said. It's not just for themselves, it's also, they're going to be pretty much the DNA of the family. You know, they're going to have kids, hopefully, and those kids, they're going to grow up with a mom, you know, say, hey, Mom, she can teach me guns. That's a beautiful experience. I think it's great. Seriously. I want to give you the floor. You have 2 minutes. If you want to pimp a little more your websites, whatever you want to do, you got the floor, okay? I'm not going to charge you, promise. Go ahead.
Well, if any ladies are interested in joining the group, it's Vegas Gun Gals on Facebook. You're more than welcome to come out and join. Anybody that's interested in the ACT program, you can actually look up ACT on Facebook as well, or you can email me. I'm machine-gun-allie@gmail.com. My website is the Train with CDA for CampbellDefenseAcademy.com. Right now our server is down, unfortunately, so make sure that you try emailing us after Monday, so when all the repairs have been done. But you can get to me on my Gmail account, and Facebook is always open and ready, so I look forward to hearing from anybody.
Excellent.
Appreciate Luca having me on the show.
Perfect. You know, I want to look into these ACT classes, you know, and I want to see which days you have them. You know, I don't live, unfortunately, you know, I don't like towns. Otherwise, I would move to Vegas, you know, but I like the boonies where I live. But I like once in a while to come to Vegas just for the opportunities. You know, you can do things, unfortunately, you know, I cannot do here, you know, like classes like yours. So I'll be in touch, and maybe I can see which days you have it. Maybe I can camp out for a couple of days at some hotel and maybe do a class. We'll see that, okay?
Sure. You'd be more than welcome.
Thank you. All right. Perfect. That was Machine-Gun-Allie. I think it's exciting. I'm very happy. That's the spirit of the show. Love, guns, and freedom. Let's take a break. Then we go to the final part of this hour. We'll talk a little bit what happened at this range safety officer chief. No, you need to put chief first in English. Chief range safety officer class. That, by the way, I passed like everybody else. You don't go away. Stay here. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna.
It is time. Get your Arizona Concealed Carry Permit now with Arizona Concealed Carry Permit by Zanna Enterprises, LLC. Become a more responsible and educated gun owner. Carry legally concealed in 35 states. Carry permitted in restaurants where alcohol is served. Learn where and how you can legally carry a firearm in Arizona. Learn where you can use deadly force. Where can you display your gun or not for self-defense? Learn how to deal with law enforcement while carrying a firearm. Learn how to be aware of your surroundings and how to avoid a confrontation. Buy your gun without waiting for a background check. Get your Arizona concealed carry permit now. Go to www.azccw.us. Go to www.azccw.us. Free for single mothers and people with disabilities.
Here we go. We are back into the studio. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and on United States with the FM network. And guess what am I doing? What I'm doing? No, what am I doing? What I'm doing. My gosh, my English sucks more than ever sometimes. I'm drinking Zanna coffee. By the way, my voice sounds like from the cave. I don't know what's happening to me, guys. Lately, wow. I think I must have some transformation in a beast. And I'm not kidding. I wake up at night. I mean, I don't even go to sleep at night. I'm stay up till late, normally like some sort of a werewolf. But around midnight, especially when the moon is full, I get so hungry. And, I normally have late dinner, 9 o'clock, stuff like that. Not really early dinner. I like eating Italian time, 8:30, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 8 is too early. Anyway, and then, of course, at 12 o'clock, normally people go to sleep, and I still get hungry. And I go back to eat real food. I don't eat chips and things like that. I gotta go to smoke salmon or make a couple eggs, stuff like that. So, why am I talking that? Because I'm drinking now Zanna coffee. Normally when I drink Zanna coffee, also, food comes to my mind. For example, like right now. Now, what I was saying before, talking about important things. Elle is a great lady. I really enjoy. And I'm grateful for this show to give me the opportunity to meet all these people that they're really interesting human beings, sharing their knowledge, their experience, and more important, be able that I can share them to you. That's the idea. That's the show. That's the spirit of the show. Now, what I did last Sunday, I was exactly this Chief Range Safety Officer class. And why do I even need that? I'm not really into training other range safety officers, but that's the idea. I can do that. And why I like that idea? Because if we want to really create the gun culture, and I'm not talking about gun culture as a bunch of rednecks, nothing wrong with rednecks, but I'm talking about gun culture, which means that we set the example of a standard of education, of responsibility, and safety. It all starts at the range, believe it or not. And even if you don't go to a range, let's say, you shoot in the desert, still, when you have a standard, like when you go through one of these NRA classes, even just a regular range safety officer, at least no matter where you shoot, you will never do mistakes that Yahoo out there may do. Shooting in an environment that is not safe, compromising the health and the safety of other people. You're going to have a different mindset. And, for me, I did that class. The first class I did was a few months ago, was my first class with the NRA range safety officer. I thought it was great. It was a great experience. I like it. And from there, I wanted to go deeper. That's why I did this Chief Range Safety Officer, because at that point, I know that at least if I want to, I can, let's say, qualify and certify other person out there who want to become range safety officers. And that's the way we build the foundation of a safe environment where people can shoot in a safe way, responsible way, not just, going crazy. Because this is, I'm all for freedom, but there is no way you can be, let's say, unruled. You must have very strict safety rules when it comes down to shooting. Okay? This is not like something you can just go anarchist. It's different. If you want to go anarchist, you go by yourself, and you want to shoot yourself in your foot, it's your problem. But if you go in an environment that other people are around you, you must be a very responsible, educated gun owner. And I think all starts at the gun ranges. That's why you need to have qualified people who understand the safety rules, and more important also how to explain them, how to enforce them if they have to. And that's why I think, these NRA classes with the range safety office are really good. And now I'm proud to be a chief, I like the term, kind of pompous, Chief Range Safety Officer. And I can't wait to train other range safety officers. So, in case you want to become a range safety officer, so you can work at ranges, or even you want to just have the knowledge, in case you want to have your private range, at least you have the knowledge. By the way, they give you also great advantages when you have to deal with insurances. Normally insurances, they give you a great deal of discount in their premiums when you are certified by the NRA as a range safety officer. It makes sense. So I'm here just to let you know in case it's another opportunity I'd like to share with you. Now, talking about other things that are already happening, next Sunday, you know very well what's happening. Sunday the 26th, 2-6, in Havasu, Lake Havasu, we have another CCW, Arizona CCW class. Yes, pretty exciting. I like to see people responding. And remember, I really hope that our Congress, with our president, will pass the law that, like you have now a driver license, you can drive, doesn't matter where you're from, in all 50 states. We should have the right to also be able, if you're a law-abiding person and you have a CCW in one state, concealed carry permit, you should be able to carry the gun all 50 states. So I pray that's going to pass. That's I really do. Meanwhile, regardless, you have a lot of benefits if you get an Arizona CCW. And I invite you, if you want to come, there are two ways you can do. First of all, go to www.azccw.us or just go to Havasu Guns. Havasu Guns is going to be the place where we're going to have this class. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be your instructor. So I'm going to be happy to see you. And I want also, let me give you the Havasu Guns website, or at least the phone number, because I think it's easy if you go straight to them, call them, and reserve. We have limited seats. So that's an exciting thing. The 26th, we have the great opportunity to enjoy one of my Arizona CCW classes, havasuguns.com. I think if I got it right, let's see. Meanwhile, I'm drinking my Zanna coffee. I really like it. This is my 5th coffee today. If I don't have an heart attack, man, this is amazing. Seriously. Everybody say, be slow with coffee. More I drink coffee, better I feel. I don't know. Maybe it's going to be my last few words. Famous words. Okay. Havasu Guns. If you need to find out where they are, you go to havasuguns.com, 2115 McCulloch Boulevard, Suite 1. Call them. Please take pen and paper, 928-302-1991. 928-302-1991. This Sunday, the 26th of February at 10 o'clock, we have one of these beautiful Arizona CCW classes that I will teach. And you will see the program, the curriculum. Go to azccw.us, see how much you get. I go way beyond, probably 1 to 5, I give 6. I give you 6. More than I can, more than I want. No, I want to give you even more than that. But the point, I want to be sure that you are at least, you know what you do not know, and you will find a way to continue your education. We want to have law-abiding gun owners that are an asset, not a liability. It's beyond just shooting. Is also knowing the laws, knowing everything you can. Anyway, so that's very important. Now, a great opportunity for free, and I like the word free because, it's free for you guys, but somebody pays. And that's fine because it's called sponsorship. This is not the government that they say it's free and somebody else is forced to pay with a gun pointed at their head. No. This is an act of love, free will. And also capitalism means, somebody sponsoring something so they have some return. And guess who is sponsoring here right now? It's me, Zanna Enterprises. Exactly, Zanna Firearms Training will sponsor this Saturday, write it down, Saturday the 25th to 5 of February, a free gun safety class in Golden Valley at the Mohave Sportsman Club. People say, I know safety class. I know. Every time I go around, they know everything. I've been shooting for 50 years. I know. And then last time I checked, he was muzzling the hell out of me. And he was keeping that finger on the trigger. And he was doing things that, oh my God, I wanted to run. There are some people out there, I tell you, I can teach you everything. But one thing I'm not able to teach, and nobody can. It's called attitude. If you know it all, if you're a big mouth, pompous jackass, just stay out of my face. Seriously. Because I always say, I'm here to learn. No matter how many qualification I may have, no matter how many certificate and whatever, there is always something to learn. Even the most professional shooter out there, even the competition shooter, there is always something he or she can learn. That's the way you become the best. That's where you always need to be yourself open. When you go out to these people, then normally they have this complex, really of, I don't know what type of complex, a terrible complex. The complex of A. I don't want to just leave it like arrogance. I didn't want to go to the other word. A as arrogance. Or the arrogant complex. There's nothing you can do. The only thing you can do is stay away. So I did this class because I first of all want to try to reach out with a free gun safety class. People that are, hey, I don't know. I just bought my first gun. I would like to know. And there are also people that they say, you know what? Yes, I have a lot of guns. I've been shooting all my life. But let me listen to this idiot of Zanna that is being spending time and money and, waking up 4 o'clock in the morning to go to, faraway places to take classes with the NRA and certificate and doing test after test, just because let's see what he had to say to us. The beautiful thing that when you come to my free gun safety class, as you can hear from the name, it's free. So don't worry about your money back. You're not going to get it because you don't give me any money. It's free. Let me tell you the curriculum, because people think, oh, okay, I know this stuff. I can read in 3 words. No, we go deeper. As usually, when I do things, I go all the way. Not because it's free, I'm going to give you a sloppy little class. I will give you the best. You're going to come back home and say, wow, how much I didn't know, or how much more I can learn. So anyway, the free gun safety class will start, as I said, this Saturday. Write it down. In exactly Golden Valley, at the 7 miles range, or called also Mohave Sportsman Club. At 12 o'clock sharp. If you want to come, you have to go to the range office, you check in, and you tell them, I have to go to do the free gun safety class with Zanna. So they don't charge you. It's free. You just sign in, you go to this beautiful meeting room that we have available, and we will start the class at 12 sharp. Okay? Now, let me tell you the curriculum. Well, let me finish this coffee, otherwise it's getting cold. 1 sec. By the way, go to zannacoffee.com because we really need your help, okay? You're going to get great organic coffee, plus we can keep the show free. Okay, curriculum. First of all, we go with, of course, the gun safety rules. People say, I know. Guess what? I don't want to just, I want you that you somehow use them. And we will do the examples with no exceptions, because sometimes you can know things in your mind. Doesn't mean that, I'm by myself, I'm not going to do it. Oh, just this time. No, you're going to use them every time. You will follow those rules. And we will go through now. One more time. Then, point 2. Shooting range rules and verbal commands. Sometimes you go to a range. And I tell you, there is nothing wrong to be ignorant, because I'm ignorant too many things. I don't know. We can fix that. Sometimes the range, they give you a flyer with some basic explanation. Sometimes they don't even give you anything unless you ask. My goal is to give you at least the basic knowledge, what you should know, what you should do when you go to any gun range. And right now, I can tell you I'm an expert, yes. At least, not just a range safety officer, even with the extra deeper qualification of chief range safety officer, I can be a little bit, let's say, arrogant to say I'm a little bit of an expert. Not much, but little bit. At least I can tell you a little more than the average person. And please, I don't want to show off this one. I just want to tell you this because I really love you. I really want you to go to a range. You don't feel like a jackass with your wife when the range master is going to kick you out because you are maybe doing some very terrible things. I want to be sure that you have fun, you're safe, and I want to help you out because I want you to stay at the range. I want you to keep shooting, having fun. That's my goal. And you become a better gun owner, more proficient, and maybe one day you may save my life on the street. That's why I'm doing this, guys. Okay? Seriously. So, we will talk about shooting range rules and verbal commands. Then we will talk about point 3, gun stoppages, gun malfunctions, 2 different things, and ammunition malfunctions. For example, you know the difference between a gun stoppage and a gun malfunction. I would like to know. This is very important because it's very important matter when it comes down to safety. Then, point 4, how to safely store any firearm. And I say any, not just the handgun. How to safely carry any firearm. Okay? It's very important. How to safely transport any firearm. Believe it or not, you gotta transport the firearm. Some states like Arizona is pretty, loose. But some other states, maybe it's not that loose. And still, even if you're transporting a firearm in a state like Arizona, that pretty much you can transport anything loaded with even round in the chamber, you still want to follow some basic, important safety rules. Number 7, how to safely handle any firearm. Yes, believe it or not, a lot of people still, you go to gun shops, you go to gun show, they're pros, people that pretty much make their living with guns. I don't say everybody, but many of them. Oh my God. Just let's put it this way. Then, point 8, how to safely unload and load any firearm. Think about it. You don't need to have a gun. Maybe you hate guns. That's fine. I don't care. Well, I can actually leave my guns away alone. But my point is, you may find one day a gun in a place that's supposed not to be. Let's say at the school. And you don't like guns, that's fine. You don't have any gun, that's fine. But still, you must be able to handle the gun till somebody comes to take care of the gun. You don't want the gun maybe going to the, some children hands, okay? So I will teach you how to safely unload and load. You don't want to load, that's fine, but at least unload and handle that firearm safely. Then, of course, we go to another point for people that are gun owners, how to safely clean any firearm. And when I say safely, there are some basic important things to talk about it. Point 10, basic hygiene while handling and shooting any firearm. And point 11, we will focus, of course, on handguns. I will bring revolvers and semi-automatic so we can see the difference. Shotguns, rifles, bolt action, and semi-auto. It's going to be a great class, seriously. Then we have also questions and answers, because it's not going to be just me talking. I want you. Maybe you have some questions I didn't somehow plan to give you answers. So I want your input. We're going to go at least a couple hours, maybe even 3 if I feel like it. Guess what? I love to do this. You see? I'm doing it for free, but I enjoy doing it. Okay? This is my form of love. Some people go to churches, some people go to, hospitals. I go to the gun range and spread the gospel. That's what I do. So anyway, I want you there if you want to come, of course. And as I said, it's going to be Saturday the 25th at the Mohave Sportsman Club in Golden Valley. And let me tell you exactly what it is. If you go to Golden Valley, Crossroad, Shina Ramp, and Route 66, it's called also Ottman Highway. On the way to Ottman, we're talking about after probably this, I think the 5th mile, something like that. But just after the FedEx hub, you will find that you can see the shooting range. Can't miss it. But be sure that you come there at 12. Don't be late, okay? So now I want to talk a little bit about exactly into details the safety class. Because maybe you say, you know what, Luca, I cannot come there, but give me something, and I'll give you something. I want to give you the best I can, even this is just a radio show, of course. Let's start from the basic, the foundation. Basic firearm safety. We go directly from the NRA, and I mix them up a little bit with some of my stuff. Rule number one. You can start memorizing it with me. Even if you don't have a gun, you're driving, I don't care. Maybe your boyfriend has a gun. Maybe you can teach him something. You, lady, you could. Always treat every gun as if it is loaded. Oh, but it's unloaded, man. No, you don't play with a gun. Even if you triple check that is unloaded, you think and you consider the gun that it is loaded. It is not a toy, nothing to prank around, nothing to have fun, nothing to show off. It is always a loaded weapon. That's fundamental, because I think really this is something so important that sometimes people think, I check the gun, it's empty. Now I can think that it's unloaded. No, it's always loaded. So when you think that it's always loaded, you will treat it with respect. Okay? You will not do the second important thing that you must always do, and it is always keep the muzzle of your gun in a safe direction. And what means a safe direction? Let's start for sure. It's not pointed at me, or point at yourself, or point at your testicles, or point at your toe, of foot, safe direction means that for, let's say by negligent, because there is no accident here, okay? The gun doesn't go off on its own. Somebody must squeeze the trigger, okay? So let's say for negligence discharge happens, at least the muzzle is not going to be pointed at anything that you want to destroy. Simple as that. That's very important. So we go, number one, every gun is always loaded. Period. Even if it's not. Number two, you keep always the muzzle of the gun in a safe direction. Number three, that's very important. I see that failing many big times out there. Always keep your finger off the trigger until you are ready to fire. That means when you're not on target, your finger, it is not on the trigger. And I mean, it doesn't even need to stay close to the trigger. It needs to be really as high as possible, touching one of these referral point on your slide. And every gun has a different, point. I call it the magic point, But the point for sure is stays away from your trigger. So always keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to fire. Now, number 4, always be sure of your target and what is in line with your target. Because, at the range still, even at the range, for sure in real life it's even more dangerous, but even at the range, you always want to be sure maybe somebody's behind that target. Maybe somebody's still, working around, taping the target. So you always double check. For sure, and also more in real life, especially when you do the CCW classes with me, we will go through even deeper to understand exactly that the real life environment, it's a fluid environment. It's not like at the range that you have just, one safe area and you can shoot down range and nobody's supposed to jump between you and the target. Now, in the real life, somebody may be behind your opponent and you may miss or you may over-penetrate. And at that point, what if that happens? Or maybe somebody's going to walk between. So that's very important. Always be sure of your target and what's in line with your target. And also be sure of what you're shooting at. You don't shoot in the dark. You always must identify your target. Always. Okay? So this just right there, if you would, let's say, respect and you would use these safety rules, you would become already, but every time, not just you know him somehow and then one day you remember, one day no. You always do it. Use it. Now, I want to go even more important safety considerations. Normally I don't talk these in many classes, but I do. If your gun falls, let's say you have a gun, and sometimes, it can happen. Maybe your hands are wet, sweating, whatever. If the gun falls out of your hand, you let it fall on the ground. Let me say again, you let it fall on the ground. Yeah, but it's my $2,000 Kimber. I don't care. If that's the gun that you chose, you live with that. Your life or the life of an innocent person is more important than your fancy gun. If you're so concerned that the gun may scratch, buy another gun. Buy a Glock like I do. I don't care. I care, but I'm not going to cry like, oh my God, you scratch my little $2,000 gun. That's not the point. If you cannot afford a gun like that, buy something else. But the point is why I'm saying that. I don't want to be harsh on your gun. I think, I understand that. But at the same time, your life is more important. If you try to reach for your gun when it's falling off your hand, it may be really possible that you're going to somehow find out with your muzzle pointing at yourself or somebody else, and you're going to, I call it by negligence, squeeze that trigger. It happens. It happened. So please, if the gun falls out of your hands, let it fall. Number 2, when you insert your gun into your holster, always do it slowly. Believe it or not, that's one of the most dangerous parts of handling a gun. Presentation and reholstering the gun. The two very important things. Because, when you reholster the gun, one second. When you reholster the gun, First of all, your finger, scary things. I see always these fingers. Many people, they don't get training or just stubborn. Still on the trigger. That's so terrible. Right? That big violation. Drive practice. No more ammo in that gun till we do it right. But then also very important is you have to think that maybe you have some garments, one part of your outfits or whatever, maybe somehow sticking out, and the trigger may get stuck into it. Terrible. So very important, when you insert your handgun into your holster, always do it slowly. Of course, point number 3, if you go to a range, or every time you shoot somewhere for training purposes, always use or wear ears and eye protections. Now, in real life, as I said in my CCW classes, you're not going to walk around in town with a pair of electronic mufflers. You're going to probably not even have the time, even if you had them on you, to wear them. But for practice and training, you have to do this. Don't forget eyeglasses, always. Point number 4, never use drugs or alcohol before or during shooting firearm. And when I say drugs, every drugs. If I had a prescription, I don't care. You know that drugs, even the one prescription, can really create big drama, dizziness, and, you're not going to be 100%. You must be 100%. Okay? That's the point. I mean, if you want to take an aspirin, probably it's not a big deal. But if anything that can create dizziness or sense of disorientation, stay away. And that, of course, works also for any other drugs, okay? I mean, marijuana included. Even I'm a big supporter of legalization. When you go to the range, you keep your stuff at home. You do it at home, okay? Don't do anything close to a range, period. Okay, so point number 5. When somebody gives you a firearm, or you pick one, always check the condition of the firearm starting from the chamber. This is something normally they don't really share much. Even at the NRA, they don't talk much. But I like this part, it's very important. It is your responsibility to check the status of your gun. But he checked it for me. I saw it. He checked the gun just a few seconds in front of me. I don't care. I recheck it. Maybe he missed it. Maybe I thought that I saw that gun is empty. Maybe I'm not sure. For sure, I need to double check. So I start from the chamber, because sometimes people think, hey, I remove the magazine and then you forget the chamber. No, I start from the chamber, check. Okay. There is anything? No, it's clear. Great. Then I remove the magazine and then I check again the chamber twice. Believe it or not, this is not paranoia. This is be really safe. Bad things happen to people that they thought they had the gun empty or unloaded, but they forgot it was around in the chamber. So that's why it's so important. Now, 6, be sure you're using the right ammunition for that particular firearm. Believe it or not, there are some people out there that they just bought their gun and maybe they found some ammunition around the house that fit. Maybe somebody told them, yeah, this is the right ammo, but they don't double check. You must double check. Some guns like, Glock 17 and Glock 22, 40 and 9, the magazine will fit. The cartridge will fit that magazine. Scary. If you put like 9mm in a 40, it's not going to function correctly, but it's not going to somehow completely be catastrophic. I mean, you're going to realize something's wrong. But think about if you squeeze a 40, try to jam it through a 9, that you will see probably not going to fit. It's going to be a disaster anyway. So check. How we check that? Very simple. First of all, you check your handgun. How? You start from let's say you have a manual book. Go with that. Number 2, on the barrel, on the slide, you will see every handgun has the caliber. Okay? That's very important. So you double check. Your most important thing, as I said, you start with your gun. And then, of course, if you have a manual book. Then you want to check the box of the ammunition. Normally on the box they say very well, clearly. And then you triple check or double check on the cartridge, on the casing. It tells you again the caliber. This is something very important, okay? Now, point number 7, be sure of the condition of the firearm before shooting it. let's say you're buying a gun used. Let's say you got some sort of a very old gun that you found maybe at your grandfather's place, whatever. You need to know that really is in working condition, because a gun that doesn't work, it is not just something that may not function. It may explode on your face, or something that very dramatic may happen. So you want to be sure at least somebody who knows more than you goes through all to the parts to be sure there are no any type of structural damages, and the gun can perform correctly. That's very important. Now, be sure also that you know how to use that firearm. Believe it or not, there are some people out there that just bought the latest handgun, probably, this double action, single action, decocking gun that you need probably, to go to some sort of university to understand how it works. And don't get me wrong, it's not that difficult. But, the first time, if you don't know what you're doing, can be very dangerous. So be sure that you know how to operate a gun. There is no shame to say, hey, excuse me, neighbor or friend, or even to the range master, can you please help me out? Seriously. Because this is not something like you make a mistake and you're just going to, get dirty. No, this could really be something very dangerous. So remember, you're liable civilly and criminally for every bullet coming out of the barrel of your gun. Exactly. There are no accidents. There is no accidental discharge, but only negligent discharges. This is very important. This is just a little first part. Not even page 1. I will continue next time with the shooting range rules and verbal commands. Why am I doing this? Because I really believe this hour that we have on the show is something we can use to become better gun owners. And I'm still here learning. I didn't say, oh my God, I know it all. No, I'm always learning. There is always something to learn. Okay, so my point is this one. Right now, this is the time to use this opportunity. Because next time, your knowledge may save somebody else's life. May save your life. And remember, everybody's looking at us. The anti-guns freaks, they're always staring at us. So we have to set the example. Don't go away. Ready for hour number 3. Incredible interviews. You're going to get shocked. Great topics. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna.
You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on United States.fm network.
Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and a love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time, getting that once-in-a-lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit FreedomLovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. FreedomLovers.us is the place where like-minded singles really click.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom on KTOX 1340 AM and on United States.fm network. This is the final hour, the hour about love, and this is luca-zanna, of course, your host. Now, in this hour, normally we talk about love. And of course, we go from, as I said, physical love, spiritual love, motherly love, sexual love, and also about happiness and freedom. Of course, the show is called Love, Guns, and Freedom. And I try to bring you also alternative views when it comes down to medicine. Of course, I'm not a doctor. I'm not even close to be a doctor, but I still can give you my opinion. More important, I want to bring you other people's opinions. That's the idea. Sometimes I may agree, sometimes I may disagree. It is not about me. It's about to have an opportunity that you can at least make up your mind. At the end, you have free choice. That's the spirit of the show. We're supposed to be free human beings, and we try to get the best information we can out there, and then we make our own, let's say, decisions. Now, I had a few times on my show, with a lot of fun and also interest, I must tell you, a guest who's been with me since almost the beginning. Her name is Kristen Harper from Lake Havasu, Arizona. And she's a very interesting lady because she is very into health, serious stuff. I mean, not like me, she's like a soldier, okay? But the point is she has a very interesting, of course, let's say almost Spartan, from Sparta, of course, way to look at health. No, let's say, mercy. No forgiveness. Rigid as you can get. And, I respect that. She has a lot of, let's say, focus into that. As I said, there are some things you said that I may agree, some things as she says I may not even the point disagree. They just don't fit for me. But before I go and we talk why I wanted to bring her back on today, I wanted that, first of all, she has a very unique, let's say, philosophy almost. It's not just being healthy. It's like a lifestyle, okay? This is not like getting some supplements and then you're ready to go to eat garbage. She's, since the morning she wakes up in the morning, she does very interesting things. And I'm not, I like to repeat them because they're very unique. Kristen Harper, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Kristen.
Hi,
how you doing? First of all, remind your company name when it comes down to the health consultant that you do.
Yes, my company name is Perfect Health Consulting Services.
Okay.
And I'm located here in Lake Havasu, and I work with clients worldwide, but I do hair analysis, and the programs that I create are called Increase Your Vitality programs.
Okay, perfect.
You balance body chemistry naturally.
Very good. And, you have an interesting lifestyle because it's not just about, sporadically doing something. You do, since the morning you wake up till you go to sleep, you live your lifestyle. Am I right or wrong?
Yes, I don't believe in moderation with food that people say, well, every now and then it's okay to eat something that you shouldn't, such as a donut. I believe you have to eat healthy 100%. No exceptions. My passion is health and wellness. From the time I wake up in the morning, which I usually get up pretty early, I do my meditation during the day. I get my sunshine at least 30 minutes a day. I'm going outside taking walks because I have to take breaks from my computer like every 3 hours because I'm trying to improve my vision naturally.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do too much close-up work, that can affect your eyes and actually make your eyes worse. So I have to take breaks and take walks. I'm eating my organic foods, my healthy foods, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I do my detox protocols every single day. I'm trying to go to bed early before 9, trying to get plenty of sleep at night. I mean, I live a very strict lifestyle, and I believe that people want good health. You have to do this. There's no exceptions. You have to eat a healthy diet, period.
Okay. Now, let's go into more details because, from here, sound okay. You're pretty strong and firm on some topics, but you go kind of, for many people's eyes, I mean, I'm not saying that we're here to judge, but could be kind of extreme. For example, and I like extreme things because probably people think that I am an extreme things on some issues, okay? So that's fine. I respect everybody else's extremity or extremism when it comes down that you do not, of course, try to infringe on other people's rights. That's your choice. It's your life. First of all, let's spell it out. You don't eat fruit, correct? You think fruit is bad for you. Am I right or wrong?
Yes, I don't believe in fruit. I have not had fruit in years, and I don't believe people should have it because we should be avoiding all sugars, including natural sugars, which include fruit. Fruit mainly consists of fructose, and there's other problems with fruit.
Okay.
It upsets blood sugar, can cause excessive insulin secretion, and other problems.
Example, a little beautiful organic strawberries. No, not at all.
I mean, if someone is craving fruit really bad and they really want it, especially people that are trying to change their diet and they're not there 100%, occasionally you can have some berries, but for the most part, you need to stay away from fruit.
Organic bananas, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Organic.
Stay away from all fruit.
Apples, no way. Kaput, 9, correct?
No.
Okay.
No fruit at all.
All right. So, that right there for me, it's kind of a huge problem. I tell you why. I'm not even discussing the fact that you may right or wrong. Let's say you got it right, okay, completely. And I still, of course, I'm not here to say yes or no. But the point is, in my life, one day, we all be dead. We all going to be dying, be dead. You yourself too. You're not going to live forever. Do we agree on that?
I agree.
Okay. Let's say...
But if you want a healthy lifestyle, you
can
live
I understand.
But
you know what it means for me also be healthy? Health is not just the way the body it feels, but also the way my mind feels. It's a little bit of pleasure once in a while. So, but that's okay. Fruit. Let's say for a moment, we really go all the way. No fruit. I couldn't do really, but okay. I'm going to try to bend on that with you. Okay. Now let's keep going. Pizza, pasta, and bread. Yes or no?
Okay. So I have a problem with pizza and pasta. The problem is like the tomato sauce. So
forget about tomatoes before even we go there. That's another story. Just the idea of wheat itself, pasta or bread,
Okay. Yeah, so wheat you need to stay away from. It's highly inflammatory, so you should be avoiding all wheat. I don't like bread for the most part because it's cooked at high temperatures, but occasionally if someone wants a bread, they could have a millet bread, maybe a corn bread. I used to suggest like rice bread, but the problem is now I'm telling people to stay away from rice because it's high in arsenic.
Okay. Even if it's organic, I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just telling people to stay away from rice right now.
All right. So we cut down the fruit. We cut down bread, pasta, pizza, things like that. Flour, of course.
Right.
Even if it's organic, of course. Am I right? Even if we got organic wheat, doesn't matter. GMO free.
Doesn't matter. You need to stay away from wheat,
okay.
Period.
All right.
Then pasta. If someone wants pasta, occasionally maybe you could have a little bit of corn pasta or quinoa pasta or something.
All right. That's not pasta for me. That's like some other things that looks like pasta, but it's not pasta. Anyway, okay. So let's say we knock down fruit, all the fruit, or 99% of the fruit, and no bread, no pasta, no any type of pizza, of course. Now, forget about tomatoes. You already told me, okay? You don't go for fruit. Of course, tomatoes, they're bad too. You heard. Now, what about a nice glass of organic wine? Tell me.
Okay, so I truly believe that everyone should stay away from alcohol, including wine.
Wow.
And the problem with wine is that it can actually, like alcohol, can actually deplete minerals from the body, especially magnesium. And the reason I say this is just based on research and hair analysis. So I have this one client who's always liked alcohol, right, and wine. And he's always had it, and I've always told him you need to do this at 100%, follow the healthy diet. And he would not listen to me. He still wanted his alcohol. Well, his hair test, every single time, low magnesium.
Okay.
And there's other problems with alcohol, too. I mean, it dehydrates the body, it affects the blood sugar, and much more.
All right. So we got so no alcohol at all, not even a glass of red wine and some organic beer, nothing. Okay. Now,
I don't believe in moderation. Remember, I don't believe in every now and then it's okay. If you want good health, you have to do this at 100%.
Okay. No, I'm not discussing. I want to be sure that, we got it clear, okay? Because I already know your philosophy, let's say style, your let's say, how you want to call it. It's a guideline, okay? It is not a philosophy. Also, of course, becoming a lifestyle like a philosophy. Now, when it comes down to, besides these things, another thing I was always very interested, I heard about it, sex. How many times do you think to stay healthy we should have sex?
Okay, so I talked about this before on your show. What I try to tell people is just like do it in moderation. You shouldn't do it in an excessive amount. I mean, once a week's okay. I mean, I just say moderation because if you're doing it too much, it can actually deplete minerals from the body because your sexual fluids are rich in nutrients. For example, zinc.
Zinc, okay. But, I can get supplements of zinc, or I have extra food containing zinc. For example, like different things that have zinc, You can find zinc in vegetables. You can find zinc in some meat. You can find zinc in oyster, how you say in English? I forgot. Anyway, this mussel stuff, seafood. Oh, by the way, what about seafood? Can we have seafood? Of course, not from China. I never eat seafood from China. What do you think about seafood? Would be okay?
Okay, so fish, I would stay away from most seafood and fish because they're toxic and contain toxic metals. I would only have sardines. You can have 3 to 4 cans per week for adults.
Wow.
They're high in omega-3s, and they're low in toxic metals because they're so small. They're low in mercury. So I would say right now sardines are good, but stay away from everything else, like no other fish, no other seafood.
Okay.
Sardines, and I love them. I put mustard on mine, and they're just Wonderful.
Right.
You want to stay away from chicken of the sea right now. There's some research out that they've been wrecked.
Okay.
So you want to stay away. They're called chicken of the sea sardines.
What about nice lobster? Do you like lobster? Real lobster, not fresh lobster.
No, I would say no lobster. No. There's some people that believe in salmon, but I would stay away from that too. It's just that seafood and most fish today are just toxic.
All right. So let me recap here. And then we have the final thing is very interesting because I always was shocked the first time I heard you on the air talking about it. And I know that there is a lot of scientific there. It's not just you try to make it up. I know there was some science. There is some science behind. You do something with coffee that normally regular people like me don't do. I drink coffee and I got it from my mouth. You do in the morning some sort of, how you want to call it, purifying ritual. What do you do with coffee normally?
So I do coffee enemas on a daily basis. I do it for detoxification, to remove toxins from the liver and the colon. And I would say that I've been doing coffee enemas probably for 9 years.
My time to ask you. Oh my God.
I do it every single day in the morning.
Every single day you take coffee from the other side of your body. I take it from my mouth, you take it from your bottom. All right. Now, you see, this is beautiful because I'm not even arguing that you're right or wrong. I think you're doing great. Whatever makes you happy, whatever makes you healthier, I think you're doing an incredible, unique job. And I like that because this is the idea. Everybody got their own little reality and world and lifestyle. But now let me tell you where I'm coming from, okay? First of all, I got your information. I know you for a while. I heard you for a while. And you shared it with me once. You shared it with me twice. You shared it with me 3 times. Then you start to get a little mad at me when I bring, for example, guests, like I did a couple of weeks ago. This lady that she's a herbalist, and she does courses of prepping and curing with the herbs, okay? And, of course, you don't like herbs. Remind me, just to be sure I got it down right. Herbs, they are bad for you, correct? Like different medical herbs can be very bad for you, right or wrong?
Yes, for the most part, people need to stay away from herbs. Occasionally, if someone wanted some, like for, let's say you had a cold or flu and you needed just occasionally, like for maybe a few days, or if you want to sprinkle a small amounts on your food. But other than that, most people need to stay away from herbs.
Okay, so we cannot have herb. We must have sex. No, we must. Probably we should maybe have sex no more than once a week. Coffee, we take it from the butt, not from the mouth. No pasta, no pizza, no bread, no wine, no beer. Forget about heavy alcohol. Not even want to mention that. What else? No fruit.
No. Stay away from most raw foods. I think that's important as well. We need to be cooking our food, especially vegetables. Like stay away from salads and raw foods.
Salads.
No vegetarian diet.
Wow. Okay. You know what? See, I'm not trying to make fun, okay? I feel like I'm already dead. Forget about getting there maybe 10 years. You may become probably older than I am. Probably I'm sure you're going to live longer than I am. But if I do this diet or this lifestyle let's say for a week, I want to jump in the river. Seriously, I don't know which river. Probably the Colorado River would be the closest one. But I would say, I'm already dead. Or probably I feel like I'm in prison. Because let's say sex once a week, not going to happen. Let me tell you this. Not because I'm trying to tell you anything, but the point is it is ridiculous that I need to give a deadline or some sort of a time frame. Okay, today is Sunday, let's do it. Sex is like when you're hungry. I eat 3 times a day at least. And let's say that's another type of appetite that should be respected, in my opinion. But that's okay. Let's leave it like that.
Well, you can do moderation, but nothing excessive.
Okay, what is excessive for you? Once a week, I consider that excessively nothing.
Well, I'm just saying if someone's having sex like daily or multiple times a day, that's excessive.
Really?
It should be in moderation.
How many times do you eat during the day? How many meals do you have? Once?
3, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Okay, and I need to eat 3 times too. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody's different. My point, everybody has a different needs. Maybe some people like to eat once a week. I don't know.
Okay, but can I tell you something about the whole health? You always say that everyone has their own way of looking at health and what meets their needs, right?
Yes.
I feel like analysis is one of the 3 truths. I really believe, and I believe it applies to everyone.
Yes. Listen.
And you know why, Luca?
Why?
Let me tell you why.
Go ahead.
Because most of the healing arts are symptomatic. It's a symptomatic approach. Herbs is symptomatic. What that means is it's a remedy, and it's just focusing on relieving a symptom, but it's not addressing underlying imbalances that are going on in the body, including balancing the major mineral ratios.
I agree with you. By the way, I agree with you.
Also, look, herbs are symptomatic. Naturopathy is symptomatic. Homeopathy is. And hormone therapy, chelation, hair analysis is a whole systems approach that's actually balancing body chemistry and is addressing the underlying imbalances that are going on in the body.
And that's fine.
I believe it's one of the truths.
That's fine, Lisa. And, that's fine, Chris. I'm not even arguing that because I'm sure you're right. But my point is another one. The point sometimes, as a friend, I tell you this, you go out, you share your knowledge, and that's great. Then this is exactly the purpose of the show. I bring here different opinions, different beliefs. Okay, I brought you a few times. I brought my friend Kat Kelly's from the East Coast with the herbs a couple times, and I don't tell people what to do or what to believe. I give them the chance to have at least some different variety of information, and then everybody, as I said, with freedom comes responsibility, and they need to decide what is best for them. Now, even if I say I completely agree that you're right, probably fruit is going to give me extra sugar. The cherries or the little strawberries or whatever, the apple can really be bad for me. Or the glass of wine, oh my God, the magnesium is going to go down to the toilet when I go to the bathroom. Or if I do sex more than twice a day, oh God, the zinc I'm going to be depleted. Who cares? I'm at this point in my life that I'm not trying to say I don't care about my health, but I try to see, wait a second, if I need to look at when the last few hours of my life, when I'm dead, okay, or I'm dying, ready to die, let's say I'm lucky, I'm dying on my bed, okay, I can look back and I say, okay, I last 5 years longer, but I couldn't have sex all the times I wanted. I couldn't have that glass of wine with my meals. I couldn't have my pizza. I couldn't have my banana or whatever. I couldn't have whatever you just mentioned. I say my life, you know what, for me, not for you, of course, it is pretty sad. That's all I'm saying. So everybody has a different type of standard of how they want to live their life. And I respect your lifestyle, but I don't appreciate when you start to, let's say, become a little repetitive. For example, you instant message me after the interview that I had with Kat Ellis, like almost I did something very bad. Oh my God, you brought back, I told you. And I didn't say that you're wrong. I just said, what is good for you, maybe it's not good for me. And catalysis may be good for other people. That's my point, because your lifestyle is kind of unique. Not everybody, I think, has the strength that you have to follow through like you do. And I wouldn't do it even if it was the only option. I'd rather die tomorrow morning, seriously. If I cannot have the things I just told you, I'm dead. Go ahead, I give you the floor.
Can I tell you why I do this, Luca?
Yeah, go ahead.
And then
please.
maybe you'll understand my viewpoint. I do it because I was sick most of my life.
Okay.
I am never going to that place ever again. It's not worth it. I mean, you can't enjoy life if you're sick. And I was sick as a child. I had adrenal exhaustion most of my life. I went through a lot of hardship. So for me, health is most important. So I don't want to go back to that place, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to be healthy the rest of my life.
No, I understand. And you're lucky that you went through, not lucky, I mean, I'm glad you found your system that gets you healthy. But remember something, though. As I said, normally, every one of us make their choices according to whatever we want to do. Me, when I tell you exactly, I am most of the time, unless they spray, and we agree on that, they unfortunately are doing terrible things to humanity, not just to Arizona, but to the rest of humanity, spraying these chemical elements and some, only God knows, maybe also biological elements to modify the weather. And that, for me, the only thing really that brings me down. Normally, I try that, I test that. I don't have just a coincidence. I did a system in the last few years. When they don't spray, I am 48 years old. And by the way, another thing probably is going to irritate you a little bit. I take Protandim the last 3 years, and I should push him more on the air. I feel like I'm in my 20s. Never felt better. I am strong. I am healthy. I'm happy. I eat like a bull, and I do everything else like a bull. I'm doing great. And if one day I say, oh my God, I may have probably lasted a couple more years if I didn't drink that wine, if I didn't have that pasta, so be it. But I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just saying every one of us make their choices. And you must, you're very caring. I know that you try because you care about other people. But when people say, hey, Kristen, I heard you once, I heard you twice, don't start to be like a teacher. Because otherwise, you remember, we're always talking about freedom here. And you share with your leadership, with your example, and people can follow you if they want to. At that point, people may say, you know what, I'm going to maybe do my way. That's what I'm trying to say. I give you the floor.
Okay, I've always told you about herbs. I've known you for how long now? A few years or 3.5 years. And from day one, I've told you about herbs, especially when you came down here that one time and you were pushing the Protandim. I told you know about
exactly.
herbs.
And this is my point.
You're Italian and you're stubborn and you never listen.
No, you're stubborn. You're stubborn because you told me once, you told me twice, you told me 3 times. The 4th time become almost, I don't want to use the word harassment, but it becomes painful. Because as a friend, I accept your advice once. The 2nd time, my mom can tell me the 2nd time the things. The 3rd time becomes almost obnoxious. And I'm not trying to be mean, but I want to be honest as a friend. So the point is, I don't tell you what to do. You shouldn't keep telling people what to do. That's my only point. And I tell you this as a friendly tip. Because, you told me many times, every time, almost like I'd done something so wrong. But, you already told me that. Like, when we were talking about, for example, legalization of drugs, we have different opinions about that. And, I don't smoke drugs. But we were talking about, an honest conversation. But if you believe in freedom, people should have the freedom to smoke whatever they want if they respect each other's safety and each other's rights. And I think maybe...
Wait. There's a misunderstanding there, okay? So I'm okay with legalization of all that, but what I'm saying is, because that's freedom, right? Liberty.
Yeah.
But I don't believe it's good for people's health.
That's fine.
Marijuana. People think medical marijuana is healthy, but it's not.
That's fine. And I don't even smoke it, period. I hate the smell, by the way. I can't stand the smell. Forget about what it does to you. But still, I will defend the right of the people to smoke whatever they want. Even if they want to smoke rat poison, it's their business. I'm not going to tell them what to do. All I ask them, do it in the privacy of your own environment, where if you fall down or if you become stupid, you're not going to, smash me with your car or things like that. The same thing I would say if somebody's drinking wine. Drink it at home or drink it at a restaurant where somebody else is driving. That's my point. So all the little thing I wanted to tell you as a personal, friendly feedback, You said yourself, I told you once, I told you twice, I told you so many years. There is a point that when you repeat the same things over and over, it becomes the opposite result. And there is no more the tendency towards freedom, but become the tendency that your system is the only system we should follow. And that's not right. As I said, on this show, I want everybody, you shouldn't put down herbs just because you don't like them or because you don't want them. Or the same story for Protandim. You don't need to take it. You don't need to take herbs. And I don't say people they need to take the coffee in their butt like you do, but that's fine. It's your right. And it's your, whatever health you want, it's your right to follow through. And all I do, I give you this as a platform for people to have different opinions. But I don't judge people that they come here because I don't like what they do. That's my only point I'm trying to say here. I give you the floor.
Okay. My point is, I think I do, and I've reminded you over and over because I care about you as a friend. And then number 2 is, Luca, and I'll tell you the reasons I have concerns about herbs so you can understand more. And also, I believe hair analysis is one of the 3 truths. I really believe it. Like I said, most of the healing arts are a symptomatic approach. Hair analysis is a whole systems approach.
Yes, I agree. But my only point is this, as I told you, by the way, talking about symptomatics, I agree with you because when it comes down to the regular medicine, the chemical medicine, the Western medicine, it's all about taking care of the symptoms. Okay, that's what they do. For me, I always like to find the causes. And with that one, I'm with you. I like to say, why do I have the headache? Why do I have that cold? Why do I have that allergy? So I know that you don't like the word homeopathy, but when I was a young man in Italy, I was able to cure myself through homeopathy, very serious diseases, or at least bad enough that the regular doctors, they wanted to give me a surgery, because what they were trying to do, they were trying to find the causes. Why do I have that problem with my nose? Why can I not breathe? Okay, so that's fine. Now, the point with the air analysis, probably I know that it is really good. I heard a lot of great things, but the only point, nobody's going to touch my hair. This is not scientific. It's just my personal, humble, freaky opinion. Nobody's going to get a DNA on my hair in the lab. It's not you. I just don't like to give my hair out. It's kind of almost superstitious. Sorry. Must be my Italian side of me, okay? But nobody's going to touch my hair because I believe in voodoo stuff, okay? Anyway. But beside that, I understand the hair analysis can give you a lot of great results understanding what you have, the condition of your health. It's very important. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I just say it doesn't work for me. Or maybe I don't want to do it. Simple as that. So how many times...
Luca, I think you're on the path. I think that you're heading on the path.
No, I'm fine.
Yeah, but I think you're going to get there one day. I really believe it.
I pray no. And I'm not trying to be destructive, negative, because I'm very happy the way I am. I like to drink my 6 coffee a day, okay, from my mouth. I like to eat fruit, especially during the season. I have a lot of trees here. I enjoy my fruit. I love to have sex as many times as I want. I'm not going to look for the calendar. I like to have my pasta at least once a day. My grandfather, by the way, he died at 90-year-old, okay? And the only reason why he died because he went to the hospital for the broken leg and they killed him there. Bless his soul. He was drinking a bottle of wine a day. He was having pasta every day. He was having all the fruit he wants. And I think he had sex till he died. Seriously. So I'm not saying that I'm like him, but I'm telling you, maybe we have different DNA. Maybe we have different genetics. Maybe what is good for me is not good for you, or vice versa. I believe that we are all different in some way. I mean, with my DNA, if I eat organic pasta, I thrive. Of course, must be good pasta, not the pasta from wheat, GMO full of pesticides. If I drink organic wine, that's for me like gasoline, okay? You put the gasoline in a rocket cell. I mean, same story with other things. But maybe other people cannot do that. I mean, I know friends, they cannot eat pasta at all. They need to eat strictly like from North Europe, like a very meat-based diet. I don't like meat very much, honestly. I don't like red meat. I feel sorry for the animals too, but that's another story. All right, darling. Please spread again your website. I want people to reach you out to find out what you do because this is the spirit of the show. I want everybody having a chance to have an honest conversation about everything. And I want people educated, so with education and knowledge, they can make their own decision. Not what I tell them, or not what you tell them, but what they want. Go ahead, give them your website.
Okay, my website I have 2 websites, perfecthealthconsultingservices.com, and then I also have another website, KristenHarperSpeaks.com. And we didn't get to the good part of the show, but I want to tell you about the problems with herbs. Can we talk about that?
I gave you 3 minutes. I shut up, you talk about herbs. Go ahead.
Okay, so the problem with herbs is it's symptomatic, so they're not addressing the underlying imbalances that are going on in the body. They are very toxic. Based on hair analysis research, people that take them on a regular basis or take too much can have, on a hair analysis, toxicity of cadmium, lead, copper, nickel. They are very yin in Chinese terminology, so most bodies are yin today because most people are toxic and have mineral deficiencies. So herbs are yin, so they make the body more yin, which will unbalance body chemistry. Some herbs can renourish the body, but they're toxic, so it unbalances body chemistry. They also have a natural toxicity. They're basically slightly toxic, or they would be considered a food that you could eat every single day. So they have a natural toxicity, they have heavy metals, they're yin in Chinese terminology, they will not balance the major mineral ratios on a hair test, which is a whole systems approach. They will not do that. They're not going to balance body chemistry. I already told you that they're a symptomatic approach. They're sprayed with pesticides, even organic, including copper sulfate and other natural chemicals. And for the most part, people do not need them.
All right.
I mean, myself and my clients, we don't need them. They're not really needed.
All right. Sometimes in life, you don't get everything you need. Maybe you get also things that you enjoy. For example, what do you think about a nice ginger tea?
You know what? I mean, people can have like a mild herbal tea occasionally. You can sprinkle some herbs on your food, like maybe some basil or some parsley or some other herbs. You can have it for like a cold or a flu for, let's say you need it occasionally for a few days. But for the most part, They're toxic. You need to stay away from them.
Okay, coffee, we already said we cannot drink coffee, right?
Yeah, so coffee, for the most part, people need to stay away from, but occasionally if someone wants some, I would only do 1 cup per day and no more than that.
Okay, like me, I get
and
at least...
I like near-infrared sauna therapy for detox as well. It's excellent. It consists of red heat lamps. People need to take supplements because you're not getting enough nutrients from food, so we still need to take supplements, which I like is that the supplements I take to balance the oxidation rate and the major mineral ratios on a hair test, which increases the body's vitality, the body's energy. Protandim you were talking about, the reason you're so hyped up is because it's a stimulant.
All right.
And stimulants eventually will weaken the body, and the protandim has 5 herbs, which can just make your body more toxic.
You know what? Since I took Protandim, since we're talking about that, I did my blood test, okay? Just a general checkup. The first 3 months into Protandim, my levels, they were super duper. After 1 year, the doctor said, what the hell is happening to you? You look like you're in your 20s. And I said, are you kidding me? And I check, and I look at the difference. My cholesterol, my hormones, everything. I said, wow, whatever it is, don't change it. And I kept doing it. In 3 years right now, it's working great for me. And I'm not saying it's going to work for everybody, but whatever it is, hey, everybody must try their way. Now, all I'm saying, you like coffee once, a little cup in the morning. I have coffee 4 or 5 times a day. Of course, I drink Zanna coffee, organic coffee. For me, it works great. I know there are probably many people that cannot drink all that coffee. I have probably coffee in my bloods. I don't know, but whatever. I enjoy it. It gives me also creativity. I sit down at night, I can drink my Zanna coffee, and I can write poems and do things that normally, I don't know. I love it. For me, sometimes life is more than just let's say, I want to stay another 6 months around here. No, I want to spend every day that I can in the best way I can, stay away from doctors, of course. I pray for that, but at the same time, enjoying every second. Kristen, I thank you for your input, for everything you do, but please, stop being like my mom, okay? She tells me that I drink so many coffee every time, but she's my mom. She can say that. All right? All right, darling. Thank you very much. Talk to you later. All right, guys. Go ahead. I give you 30 seconds. Go ahead. You finish.
Okay, I was just going to say you can still have fun when you live a healthy lifestyle.
For me, health is what I do. For you, health is what I do. As I said, we have 2 different philosophies in life, and I don't discuss that. I don't argue that you're right or wrong. I just say it. We respect each other. You do what you want, and don't touch my pasta, don't touch my coffee, don't touch my fruit, don't touch my sex, okay? Thank you.
Hey, I was really proud of you the other day. You posted about doing meditation on Facebook. I was so proud of you, and if you keep that up.
I was messing with you. I was messing with you. That was my meditation. I stare at guns. You stare at the other things, and I respect that. For me, meditation means looking at my rifles before I go to sleep, and I do chakra like you do. Meditation.
If you do meditation every day, you're going to get to a point where you don't need your pasta and your wine and your fruit and all of that.
You don't understand. I don't need it. I wanted it. It's different. All right? Let me go. I have another part of the show. Thank you very much, Krista. This is luca-zanna. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. Don't go away. And this is all about freedom. This is about having honest conversation. We talk straight to each other, and we respect each other. Okay, now, ready for the final part? Maybe I'm going to play a serenade. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm in the mood. I'm in a romantic, very romantic, heavy-duty mood. Don't go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman.
I'm not afraid.
And a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth.
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Gianluca Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Gianluca Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. This is the final part, the final hour, the hour about love. I really like this hour because it starts to really almost brings me into another dimension, topics and matters that normally we don't touch on the air with other shows. And also connects me to our humanity. We are human beings. We are made of passions. We are made of desires. We have a body. And I think it's beautiful. I mean, this is the most beautiful thing we can have, you know. And our emotions sometimes go a little crazy, but we feel love. We can feel also sexual desires. And sometimes we, let's say, stereotypes, you know. I hate the stereotypization. You know, people start to always put you in some cages or in some sort of an areas. Okay, if you believe in country, if you believe in the Constitution, if you believe in, let's say, conservative views about gun rights or whatever, individual rights, you probably must be a very boring person when it comes down to sexuality. And that's very far from truth. I mean, we have our own worlds. And it's private, and I like it like that, because normally that's why we can respect each other. We can do our own things in our own privacy in our homes. But at the same time, we have our own reality that people, maybe, I want to talk about these things, because I don't want to have taboos. I want to have on this show, we can talk about everything. Doesn't mean that I agree with you, doesn't mean that I'm going to do the same things. Maybe I do, maybe not, doesn't matter. But it's about, we have freedom and love. All right, let me go straight to the point, because I know, what are you running around? Look at what you want to tell us. Guess what? I have an incredible lady who I met on Facebook, who I know that she's been buying my music for a while. And so what she told me, she's been sharing my music, and I really appreciate it, by the way. And I think we believe probably most of the things that I believe. Since she likes my music, she must probably agree on many of the issues that we believe. You know what I believe. And the point is, out of the blue, we were talking about different things, and one topic came out. Can a couple, a committed couple, for example, like husband and wife, have also, or let also in their relationship another woman? In this case, means that the woman also likes women. Call it bisexual, call it whatever. Many of you may think, what? What are you talking about, Luca? No, this is serious matters. I'm not trying to be scandalistic or try to provoke anybody here. I really believe this is a serious matter, because prove my point. You can be a conservative person, you can be, a patriotic person, and at the same time you have your own differences when it comes to sexuality. And I think that's the most beautiful part. We're supposed to be free, always with the respect of others. Let me bring this lady. It's a incredible lady, as I said. She's very smart, in my opinion. And you know what? I want to bring her pretty much saying not much, because I'm going to give her privacy, because I believe, after all, this is a serious topic. Also, it's a private topic. But what I would like to get out of this, that we all think for a moment, before next time we judge somebody about their private life, let's think about it. If you're really a Christian, Christ said, look at the log that you have in your own eye before you judge me, okay? Especially when nobody's bothering you. Her name is Trish. Trish from New York. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Nice to meet you again, Trish. First of all, introduce yourself a little bit. I know that you are a very activist lady. You go out there, you believe in country. Tell me exactly what you believe and how you found my music. I'm curious now.
Actually, I somehow came across your music during when upstate New York was doing the SAFE Act. And one of the pages that I had found, they had shared your music, Tread on Us, and I listened to that, and then I went right on the website and bought CDs. I bought extra CDs because I wanted to send them to our local politicians and take them to rallies with us as well, and just give them out to people so that the message got, the message and education from the CDs got passed on.
I appreciate it, by the way. What you did was very nice. Seriously. The fact that you buy extra music to share for the message, I really thank you from my heart. Go ahead.
Other than that, obviously I agree with a lot of the stuff. I actually learned quite a bit from some of your songs that were just stuff that I never learned in history class. I really, after listening to your song, looked up a little bit more and learned a little bit more about our country and what certain words meant and stuff like that. So that was another part of it I really enjoyed.
You made my day. It seems almost like you are a paid commercial. I never paid you, right? Seriously, because people say, well, look, probably you found this lady, you gave her $50 just for this conversation. I really appreciate it. No, it is really, for me, I tell you, when I do music, I always put this music effort thinking about, can I reach another person? Can I put a little seed of curiosity into that person. I try always to reach the young, of course, because music, normally you think the youth is going to be the first recipients. But I'm glad, even lady, I could have that type of impact. I'm very humble and grateful. Now, so you are, let's say, a patriotic lady. At least you believe in many things normally. We believe on this show, okay? We believe in freedom, in country, in sovereignty, small government, small taxes, and of course, gun rights, individual rights. Normally they would call you some sort of, right-wing conservative, but I don't believe in left or right, you know that. Now, when it comes down to sexuality, out of the blue, you are, let's say, something very interesting and different. Tell me a little bit. You've been married for a while, right?
Well, Mike and I have been together for 25 years.
Wow.
And we've been married for 22. We've been closer than ever. We married when we were 18 and 20 years old.
Wow.
Everybody thought, wow, you're going to get, you're marrying too young. I married right out of high school. He had already been out of high school a couple of years. And they just assumed that we were going to, not last. Mm-hmm. And we have not only done that, but we are just closer than ever. We both grew up on a farm. We grew up with guns and our individual rights and how to them. And so we just, we grew up hunting and everything, and just always learned that way of life and drawn together. And then later in life, we both are nymphos, so we certainly enjoy our sex and all of that comes with that. Okay. And decided that we would. It's not that we need the sex, because 3 times a night's a slow night for us. So It was just a matter of adding something new, something adventurous.
So what exactly happens, this addition? Explain to me. I mean, more to the listeners. What exactly do you do? I mean, what do you bring in somebody else?
Yeah, we pretty much, sometimes, if we find like I used to do when I was, when we first were married, we had our first son, and I went and I was obviously home with him during the day. And then at night I'd go and do laundry and toy parties. And because being a nympho, that's the great thing for me. So that was a lot of fun. And, I would talk, I'm very open about my sexuality and my what I believe in. And, I think everybody should be able to speak their mind and have that freedom of speech. And I'm huge about that.
Yes.
So I always did that at my, parties. And with that, I had told true stories, and some of the girls were that were booking parties had experienced it, and we just kind of, I opened up and they pretty much got the hint that, my husband and I have girlfriends and have fun with them, and very safe-minded with it. And all of a sudden, I'd have people approaching me in curiosity, and then we'd have a conversation, and then my husband and I would treat them out to lunch or dinner, and we'd meet and greet. And if everybody, felt comfortable, we'd go on to the next step.
Wow. This is, exactly the idea of freedom, my opinion. People may say, oh my God, right, look, are you going to rot in hell? This is exactly the idea of freedom because, we are here. First of all, I hate when politicians try to legislate on morality. Last Sunday, I had a show about this topic, in some states. There are still laws on the book that they try to tell you how you can have your sexuality in the privacy of your own room. For example, there are laws that outlaw, let's say, oral sex, or they try to outlaw, even of course it's unconstitutional, let's say, anal sex. As I said, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you the government should always stay out of our private life. Otherwise, we'll become like the Taliban or like the moral police, in Iran. So that's the most important thing. That's why I want you on the show, because I want to start to put some seed of reasoning in the good person out there that normally we believe in the same things, but then they get caught in this trap just because when it comes down to our sexuality or morality, we have different standards. They try to completely act like tyrants. And they think they must dictate what their beliefs are to us or to you or to somebody else. That's wrong. So that's why I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're talking about this, because normally we don't talk enough about these things, and I think it's an important topic. Now, question.
I agree. And I also I did listen to your show last Sunday, and I was really surprised that there was a lady that had got on and said she agreed with it. And I'm like, first of all, I have 2 issues with that. One, I obviously completely do not disagree or agree, because I don't think that the government has, whether it's local government, private government, or in any kind of government, anybody at all should be able to know what we're doing in the privacy of our own home and our own privacy of our own land that we have earned and fight for every day to keep. So I think that, and the other part that really makes me more nervous about that is the fact of how are they going to police what you do privately in your own home and in your own bedroom.
Yeah, it's not even about the fact that they claim they may not be able to enforce it. Of course, somebody may always be set up. You never know, okay? Somebody may always say, who knows how but the fact that they have it on the book and they have the audacity and the arrogance to claim that your private parts, they own it, they own your body, and 2 adults or more. Because maybe, as I said, maybe they're not just you. Maybe I want to have sex with 3 people. It's my business. Why don't, you see how the lady was, she's a friend, by the way, she's a patriot, but at the same time, she get caught in the trap, She was completely against the anal sex part, but then she was okay with the oral sex. And I say, where you draw the line? And where are you to decide what we can do or not? Don't you think? That's the most important thing,
And it's not something that, like you said, it's not something that's almost like the government telling you, whether you can have a certain colored hair or a certain body weight.
Exactly.
They have no right to tell us that.
Who am I endangering? It's not like, oh my God, we're having a threesome today. Oh, you must be so mad because I'm ruining your life. Oh, seriously, we are not doing anything to anybody else. Okay, it's all I say always, the conditions must be everybody is over 18 and there is not coercion. That means we're out of a free will. That's the condition of freedom. That's the condition of respecting each other. And of course, always say in the respect of others. For example, I don't care if you are just a regular straight, whatever, regular couple, or if you're a lesbian or if you're a gay. If you had to kiss each other in front of me, maybe I don't appreciate that. Okay, do that in a hotel or in your car or anywhere else that I don't need to see the show. That's the bottom line. And this is beyond sexuality. It's about respecting each other. All right, Lisa, I have a question for you. So you have, let's say, your husband and you together at night when you feel like it, you invite a lady. Am I right?
Correct.
Okay. And you have a regular girlfriend or sometimes you look around for new different experiences? I'm just curious.
It depends. Our first experience was not a good experience. I don't know how much of a detail you wanted me to go into that part of it, but
you are free to say everything you want. Only thing we cannot say it's cuss words because we're under FCC. But you can describe as much as you wish. I'm not going to tell you what to say.
Yeah, our first attempt at a threesome was. Where I worked, the girl, we started talking about the topic, then she wanted to have a lingerie toy party, and then from there she loaded my car up and then had told me she was interested, and brought her, we met her, and then at that time we ended up having her in our bedroom, and it was just a shock to us because, when you go for a threesome, there's kind of like an etiquette that, like, at least take a shower.
Yeah.
And it was very unclean, and
wow,
and it just kind of put a bad taste in our mouth.
Oh my God!
And to the point that neither one of us were going to do any oral sex because it was so bad.
I'm sure the owner of the station is loving it, Mr. Rubin. If you don't hear me next Sunday, maybe I'm fired, but that's okay. This is the freedom of speech, and I love it. Okay, I'm glad we can talk freely. This is not Iran. This is not some. To work County, we are talking about freedom and love. Perfect. Okay, so my question is always, I have a question for you. And that's my concern, okay? And I'm not looking at the moral part because I think can be excitement, everything you want. How do you know that person, besides being clean, of course, is also a safe person? Because, you and your husband, you know each other and you're safe. But when you start to interact with somebody that you never really know very much, I'm always concerned. Call me Michael Jackson, but I'm kind of concerned of germs and things like that. How do you cope with that?
Well, the biggest thing is, and still to this day, is always the unaware and the fear of STDs and stuff like that. Most of the people that, and you kind of wonder about that because depending on how you find somebody. We generally don't go. We've never been bar hopping people, so we've never just hung out at a bar. If we didn't, we prefer a campfire. So we always try to find people who are willing to, and a lot of them are always, mentioning disease and, D&D friendly, disease and drug friendly and that kind of stuff. So they, but how far are they really going to go with that? Where me.
You're free. You don't have anymore that urge to do stupid things, but you can do it, in a way that is reasonable, I think, and with joy. That's my humble opinion. Of course, people may disagree with me. But anyway, listen, I really commend you. I think it's incredible witnessing, and I want to give you the floor. Anything else you want to add to your personal life or to your patriotic efforts, whatever you want. You got the floor.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is I know one of the things that people typically ask me is, whether my husband has how we select girls. And him and I generally have the same girls that we are attracted to. So it's kind of funny because if, for instance, we're out in the community and most guys who are gawking at some girls, so their girlfriends or wives are, pay if they see them do it and they'll slap them or something. Where me, if I don't see it right away, I slap them because he didn't tell me about it, so I had enough view. So.
I understand. And any jealousy? I mean, sometimes, I'm trying to just visualize. Okay, let's say you bring another lady, and he likes it very much. Okay, so wow, that's so beautiful. And, I like everything we did together. Do you ever get jealous of him, or does he ever get jealous of you?
No. Again, I think that goes back because for our entire relationship, we've been, again, that open communication, no secrets, no lies.
Okay.
I think a lot of the problems that I've heard from people who are having a very hard time with adding threesomes is generally the other partner, whether it's female or male, tend to get a little caught up in their head and try to think about stuff too much and worry about, well, what if she's bigger than me, smaller than me? What if she does a blowjob better than me? I mean, it doesn't matter. You learn from it and you have fun with it.
Okay, all right. That's interesting. I need to ask if the word that you just said is FCC compliance, but no problem. I'll find out later. Listen, I want to say thank you, and I will play a song dedicated for you, your husband, and everybody out there who believes in freedom and he believes that we have the right of life, happiness, and the right of life and the pursuit of happiness. So I'm glad you're happy with your husband, and I'm glad that we are not on the Taliban, and we can do pretty much whatever we want with the respect of others, okay?
Well, with you being an Italian, I have one more thing I wanted to let you know.
Go ahead.
That I'm generally like spaghetti. I'm straight until you get me warm and wet.
Okay, that's enough. I think we need to shut down here.
All right.
That's beautiful. Okay, listen. Thank you very much, okay? My bye to your husband.
Have a great day.
Thank you. That's a look and say hi. Wow, that was very interesting interview, and I tell you, I enjoy this show because we can talk about everything we feel like it. And if you don't like it, change channel. Don't cry, please. Seriously, I hate when people start to call the radio, oh, how dare him? He was talking about anal sex. Nobody told you to listen to it, okay? Don't be a spineless person. Grow some, okay? And just change channel. I think you're not going to change channel because this is important topic. They are important topics. Seriously. People say, wow, we have so many problems in this country. Yes. And one first problem is that we need to mind our own business. When somebody else is doing their business, leave them alone. Okay? Everything would be so good. Because if we can apply this concept also internationally, we would have a much healthier and, let's say, more peaceful world. Okay? Everybody mind their business and we all can get along. How does it sound that? It's microcosm and megacosm, okay? Anyway, that was it. This is luca-zanna. I'm almost ready to go. I want to finish with a song dedicated to all the people out there who believe in freedom and who believe, be free in every way, even when it comes down to sexuality. And also I want to say, please, if you want to support the show, I really need your help. All you have to do is go to www.zanna.us. Download any of my songs, or you can buy my CDs. There is also my new ebook, Lyrics and Poems, that is going to be completely my collection of lyrics from my songs and some poems. I'm working on a new book. It's going to be erotic poems, something that I really enjoy doing. And, of course, there is also Zanna Coffee. Go to zannacoffee.com. All right, that's enough for today. God's willing, I'll talk to you next Sunday. You've been listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca-Zanna.
I walk
Ciao.
alone in the night. smile. I can't resist you tonight. Temptation, a new sensation. I wanna try with you tonight. Temptation, a new sensation. I wanna try with you tonight. Another lie, another smile.